starts with this, a person that you miss. Mine draws a blank. I wanna go back to the early days when life was an escape. Now I just wait for better days. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I filled our life according to a friend. We're all shrink wrapped in families and making ends meet, stuck in jobs we'll never leave. I never wanna be like that, so I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. Didn't mean to sound so concerning. Am I alone in the hurt? I never followed anyone. It's so absurd. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. I wanna go back to my reality. Wanna go back. It's gonna go back. Gotta go back. Gotta go
Oh my God, I'm busy pushing buttons. Oh, Frank Dominguez finally got a membership. Oh, the robot. Oh, that is a new one from the bot. Oh, the bot's breaking out. I thought that was the end of the song. It's not. This is the squiggly impromptu part. Everybody improv. Oh yeah, guitar solos. Grandpa's guitars. When's the end of the song? The end of the song is around here somewhere. Oh my God, there it is. If we found the end of the song and we push the button, because it was the end of the song finally, I accidentally ran into the next song. So now it's 2:05. I was pushing buttons. So I couldn't push buttons to start the show because I was pushing buttons. You know what I mean? So you know how it is. What's up, everybody? It's Monday, August 5th, 2024. Are you all excited? Are you all excited for August the 5th, 2024? August the 5th, 2024 is very exciting. You know why? I don't, because I don't. Do you know why it's exciting? Because I don't. I don't know why it's exciting, but it is. Welcome to another exciting program of It's Monday, so let's live stream. Wesley's Fish Club earlier on, pre-stream, said 108 more minutes. I can't wait. I know how it is, buddy. I know how it is. The upside is I'm probably going to stream extra this week because the daughter is no here. The daughter is no here this week. Grandma and Grandpa have taken the daughter camping this week, so we will have extra, what do you call it, like, what is it when you're a non-parent, if you aren't a parent? What is it when you're not a parent? If you're not a parent, are you opaque? Is that what's going on? What if you don't have kids? What are you if you don't have kids? What's the name for that? What are people called that don't have kids? What are people called that don't have kids? Child free? I mean, they're not voting for JD Vance, I'll tell you that. I don't know. I can't think of it. I can't think of a word for it, and neither can the freaking internet. I looked it up and it said child free. I don't know what that means. Dual income, no kids, child free. So the dual income, no kids are dinks, right? Like this. Like that. Dual income, no kids. Those are called dinks. You know. You're called a half vote? Yeah, that must be it. Like, if you don't have kids, you can't vote. My God. Can you believe that, like, somebody running on the presidential ticket this year, one of their platform plans is that if you don't have kids, you shouldn't be allowed to vote, which is so patently insane. It's unbelievable that somebody on our presidential ticket would be saying shit like that and it not being like, oh, there's no way they're going to win. But here we are in 2024, the year that we're in. I don't have a name for this year. Is there a name for this year? The year of, I guess you don't get to vote if you don't have kids, I guess. Frank Dominguez is here, third into the chat today. Third. Witchy Cat was first. Wesley's Fish Club was second. Frank Dominguez was third. Alyssa Bentley was fourth. Kiwi Mamo was fifth. 187 Ghost, what's up, buddy? Said, don't forget to like. That's right, because it's the beginning of the stream. So if you're Replay Team 6, you have to leave a comment if you're watching this after the fact. If you're not watching live. If you are watching live, you need to comment a whole bunch into the chat. Just a whole bunch of string of random ass things that you want to think about, or if you guys want to talk about. And if you feel like calling in, you can call in on the Discord because the green room is open. If you want to call and talk to me with your mouth hole, right? With your mouth hole words situation, you can do that if you like. If you don't like that, I'm not forcing you to do it, okay? I'm not forcing anybody to talk with their mouth. I'm not forcing anybody to do any of that. Yeah, so you can. But if you're Replay Team 6, you have to leave a comment. You have to hit the like button. That's very important. That's very important, right? You have to leave a like button, I guess. I don't know. And then whatever whatever it is, YouTube style bullshit that you got to do, just get fully engaged in it, just as much as you possibly can. Just fully engage. I don't know, engage with the video. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Move on, like we always do. We move on because we have to. Yeah. And I, as you will notice, have gifted 5 memberships today to Kiwi Mamo, James Dover, Frank Dominguez, Gary Chodorau, and Pipex. And I think one of the funniest things about gifting memberships is seeing the people that, like, I thought they were members already popping up into the gifted memberships. When people gift memberships and the names pop up there where I'm like, I thought they were already a member. Oh, turns out they weren't. Yep. They must have gone away. But they're back. And so you know what that means. It's just an opportunity. You know what I mean? It's definitely just an opportunity to get weird and then become a member again if you want. If not, then just go do whatever it was you were doing before and maybe take a nap or something. Yeah. So hopefully all those people out there are taking naps, enough naps that you feel good about yourself. I'm looking forward to a possible napping opportunity this week when it may or may not be late in the afternoon around dinner time or something like that, just to kick back, take a little nap, because I don't have to chase my daughter around like a crazy person. Right. So, yeah. Fish Fam Link says, turn that like button blue and smash the subscribe to show your appreciation. We don't even know if the Fish Fam Link is a bot. We don't know. We're still, are we 60-40? I mean, maybe we're 70-30. I don't know which way we'd be leaning if we even knew which direction to lean these days. We don't know. It feels like the bot says new things sometimes, and it makes me wonder, is somebody programming the bot? I don't know. But Stonyscapes says like with a check mark with the eyeballs next to it. I don't know what that means, but yeah, you got to do it. Skog Shrimp and Stuff, who is a member for 20 months at the producer level. Big thanks to Skogs, my guy, one of my favorite people. And I have to fly all the way to the East Coast to try and visit him, which makes me sad because it's a hell of a flight, my guy. It's a hell of a flight to just fly out to the East Coast. Because I don't even think that there's like an appropriate time of the year to fly to the East Coast in the United States, because it's like the weather there is so unpredictable. Like if I was to set a date, what would the date be? I don't know. Like what's the most pleasant time to go? Which I should make like I should make a statement here. I should make a very, very strong statement here for me to stand on as to what my favorite day is. Now, I realize this, having a discussion with my mother recently, whilst we figured out what is our favorite weather. Because as Frank Dominguez says, it's too hot to nap. It's 110 out there. This weekend where we were at, it was close to 110 degrees, and it was not chill. It was not nap weather, I'll tell you that. We were in Eastern Washington, and we had to go to Eastern Washington because, Vicky had a conference that she had to go to. I don't know. I didn't go to it. I wasn't even invited. In fact, it would have been weird had I gone to it. So I didn't go. But she had a conference that she had to go to that she organizes for something that she's the president of something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And so we had to go to that. And it was like 107 out or something, 105. I don't know. Too hot. It's too freaking hot. And so we had to go to that. So I get it. It is too hot to take a nap when it's 110 out. But also, I'm not really sure if there's anything else to do when it's 110 out, because I feel like I'm going to die. And I'm getting close to dying when it's 110 out. I don't know. Autumn is the only appropriate time. October really is the only good time. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was describing my favorite weather type day. My favorite weather type day starts out with it's like 60 degrees out in the morning. And we have here in Western Washington, I don't know if this exists elsewhere. I'm sure it does. We have what's called a marine layer. So we get this sort of superficial cloud layer. It's like cloudy, but you know these aren't serious clouds, right? Like these aren't serious clouds with serious intentions and things to do with cloud-like behavior, right? It's just like I'm just blocking out the sun. I'm like a shade, right? And by about noon, suddenly the sun's ultraviolet rays, the power of the sun, burns off those clouds, and then it's sunny out. And about 80 degrees, maybe 82, maybe 78. I don't know. In that range, 75 to 85, perfect, wonderful, sunny out. There just isn't much else that you could complain about because it's warm, but it's not hot, and it's sunny because we like the sun to be out. It makes me get more wrinkles in my forehead. and then I don't shave on Monday, so I look a little bit older today. But I got the sun's ultraviolet rays on my skin, and it's good for you. D-Rock, 105 here in Redlands, California. Weed eating and trimming some lavender. That's a bit much, but I do like weed eating and trimming lavender. I do like doing those things, but 105. It's too hot out, bro. It's too hot for that. It makes your fingers sweaty, you know what I mean? It's too much. A chill 94 here, which is still too damn hot. Yeah, it is too damn hot. Oh my god, guys, it's too damn hot. But Skoglund says that October is the time to go. Yeah, so I guess late September or Rocktober. Yeah. It seems pretty reasonable. It looks like 75's degrees out. 85 here with 56% humidity. I don't know what our humidity is right now. It says it's 79 and 51%. I guess this morning it was more humid. It was 68%. Now it's 79 and 51%. Does the humidity, does it go up? Oh, it does. Our humidity goes up to 90% tonight. And then it drops down as the sun blazes on it, It's a blazer type situation. Let's see what the exact AccuWeather is. Yeah, 79 degrees. 51% humidity. The cloud ceiling is all the way up at 40,000 feet. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. What's going on tomorrow? 81. 81 and something. Who knows? Can we predict the humidity? The humidity? Oh, it's going to be a little breezy tomorrow. Sounds good to me. Gonna be a little breezy tomorrow. That's good. We like that. But no, my joints are happy with that lack. My humidity is a big round goose egg. I'll trade you. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Eastern Washington, I think the humidity is probably 0. I will say this: it was really hot. Um, it was really kind of dusty out, and um, like booger phlegm production. You're like all the time going like, that, you know. And the reason for that is because the wildfires are on the loose and it is smoky on top of it. And that's kind of the weird thing is that, you wear clothes around all day out in Eastern Washington and then you put them in a laundry bag and then you take them out and they smell a little bit like campfire. And you didn't notice it at all when you were there, right? They just smell a little bit like campfire from being in the smoky air. And then it's a wonder why you're like the whole time, right? Because you're just combating like a little bit of smoke everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. And is the smoke any better? I would say that the smoke is probably worse up by Witchy Cat's place, but I'm just guessing. But while we were there over the weekend, the air was not really moving around. Let's check out the smoke forecast. Let's see if we can't get the whole state. Ooh, it's like it got windy. Oh, there's no data up there for this one. Hold on. Let's go to a good one. Here it is. Yes. Washington State Department of Ecology, which, another reason to vote for Kamala Harris because they'll actually maintain this. Powered by NOAA. So, oh, sweet mother of poop. Well, that was loud. Okay. There's Witchy Cat. Okay, Witchy Cat's here, but they're having weird sound stuff, so we'll wait a minute. I was over here. I was in this area, which now is currently yellow, although yesterday it was, and the day before, there was more smoke, because it was coming down the corridor from up here, from the Mount Baker National Forest. There's a big-ass fire up at the north end of Lake Chelan, and that's where all the smoke was coming down Lake Chelan, down into Wenatchee, into this valley right here. And it was making it smoky. What's this one? That's the shoe fly fire. 104 acres. This one's a small one. Let's close that because the shoe fly fire is pretty small. Ooh, it's up on the top of the mountain. Yeah, it's on Shoe Fly Mountain. Duh. Of course, that's why it's called that. This fire, 500 acres. No previous reports available to calculate growth. Ooh, we don't know. This one's out Miners Ridge. I don't know if I've ever been there. Oh, I've been to Vista Creek. I've been up here. So, maybe. What else? What else do we got? Pincer 2 fire, 102 acres. Okay. Okay, that's the North Fork and Middle Fork of the Cascade River, which I know I've been out there, but, unhealthy for sensitive groups. What the hell? What's this fire? Yeah, the Pioneer Fire. This is the one. 35,000 acres. This one's pretty big. Indicating 130 acres of growth over 23 hours. So the Pioneer Fire is growing and raging out of control. Now, as it goes south down Lake Chelan here, eventually there's just going to have to get more and more people involved as it goes this way. So, yeah. But this fire's out of control. It's gotten buck wild.
They don't expect it to be contained until October.
Sweet mother of poop. You're so loud. Hold on. There we
I
go.
told you to turn it down before anyone called in. But
You
wouldn't
didn't.
listen.
I don't listen. I'm not listening.
Okay.
It's too loud. I can't listen.
You're
Oh,
deaf.
so you're saying the Pioneer Fire, they're like, nah.
They're saying October. And they said that actually 2 days in, and it's mixing with the Easy Fire. It's the same two groups working together now, so they're reporting on it daily. They're both huge. And that fire in Canada just crossed the border up by Mazama, so we're getting it from both sides up here.
They're not connected to the Easy Fire. No.
No, the DNR teams are.
Oh, they flying back and forth or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're sharing resources.
Playing a little two-hand touch with each other? Weirdos. Oh, so you're saying that they're saying that I don't even know, this fire went away. I can't click on it anymore. I don't know.
Doesn't let you.
The Pioneer Fire, they're just not going to put it out, or what are they doing?
They're saying because it's in such bad areas that they don't think they're going to be able to get it contained, get around it until at least October. They're going to try to control burn it. Denicum is completely.
What are you saying?
Evacuations as of 3 days ago.
Are you saying?
So
Are you trying to say Stehekin? Is that what you're saying?
Stehekin, is that how you pronounce it? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not familiar with
I'm
that
like,
one.
I
Sorry.
just checking because I'm like, hold on, is there some other shit I don't know about? But yeah, it's called. It's pronounced Stehekin. So the weird thing about Stehekin is like the only way to get to Stehekin is like you have to go. You basically go to Chelan, which the city is down here all the way at the end of this gigantic lake. Then you got to get on a boat that takes you up there. There's really no road that you can get to Stehekin, this little tiny town here. There's probably like 50 people that live there, maybe. It's like a little bit of resorts and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it sucks that people got to evacuate or whatever. Chances are the people I know like over the years, I've known a few people that lived here. I mean, maybe it's 100 people, maybe it's 500 people. I don't know. It's such a small community, and the only way to get to it is by boat.
Cool.
What's that?
I said cool.
It's
Until you have to evacuate.
yeah, until you have to evacuate. There's an airstrip over here. Also, you could fly there, but I don't have a air. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I don't have an airplane, bros. I don't.
What?
Yeah. I don't have an airplane. I'm not that guy. Anyhow, so you have to take a boat from way down here. So my guess would be that like this is so much in the federal land up here that they're just like,
Right.
yeah, what do you want us to do? Because you're really not supposed to put out fires that are in the federal land. They're not really supposed to put it out unless it endangers structures or roadways. Then they get authority to put it out. But it is what it is. So I'm guessing the reason why it's up here so far and they're just going to let it burn is for that reason. There's like nobody around. And the only thing they would really have to protect is these. So if I zoom way in here, there is a cluster of little buildings right by the water here. And then there are like independently owned structures out here. But as you can see, like they don't even show up on the map, really. Like there's some few little cabins and things like that that are, around down by the water. And then there are some up in the hills. But, my guess is that's why they're not putting that one out, is that when they're on federal land, they just let them burn a lot. But, fire season is fire season here. If you're from a part of the world that doesn't understand, we have gigantic forests and shit, and they catch on fire every year, and it just really, it is a thing. It's fundamentally a thing. Because if you look at this map here of Washington, you have all this stretch right down the middle here that's all mountains and forest. And then this stuff catches on fire because it's super hot over here, this high plains desert, this area. And stuff catches on fire over here, and then because it's federal land, they're like, yeah, let it burn. It's federally owned. It's part of the nature. It's part of nature. And so, Yeah, you have to deal with smoke and high temperatures over here all the time, and it's like a tinderbox. Eastern Washington is like a tinderbox, but Western Washington has the same problems when it gets hot out. There's apparently a fire down here. Fire detection on the Pierce and Thurston County line, just outside of Yelm. Oh no, just outside of McKenna. Oh no. It's on Hearts Lake Road. Oh no. Somebody's house.
Set the property on fire.
Somebody's house is on fire on Hearts Lake Road. I drive on this road all the time, by the way. You guys. Let's see. Yeah, you go on 702 and then you turn right on Hearts Lake Road. And we drive down this road all the time. Just look at this right here. You know what that's called? Hearts Lake. That's called Hearts Lake. Right at the end of Hearts Lake Road. Go figure. This is probably a brush fire, I would guess. Because it looks like it's at the end of a little street in someone's backyard. So my guess is somebody has a big giant burn pile from pushing over trees and shit. And scooping up brambles with their tractor or whatever. And then they were like, oops, it caught on fire. Because they do that this time of year. People down there do that. Even though there's a burn ban, they're like, dude, burn ban. Can't burn nothing. Too hot, too dry, buddy. But then they're like, oh, but I've got this big giant burn pile. What am I supposed to do with it?
I spent 3 hours trying to explain to my neighbor why it is illegal to have a burn barrel in Eastern Washington.
Does he have a burn barrel?
She's like, I'm going to set up a burn barrel. And like, and I'm going to call the cops on you. So don't do that.
I mean, you could have a burn barrel in, like, December.
Nope, illegal in this state. Or at
What?
least in this county.
I'm going to look that up.
I knew you would. That's why I stopped talking.
I mean, I don't... Yeah, that's the thing. No, burning in a burn ban is illegal in Washington. Yes, it has been illegal to own a traditional metal burn barrel in Washington state since April 13th, 2000. This rule is in line with the International Fire Code. Burn barrels produce toxic smoke that can be harmful to your health and stays low to the ground. Oh. Outdoor burning is also prohibited in all urban growth areas. I don't know what the fuck that means. However, people who live outside the urban growth areas may be able to burn yard waste such as leaves, grass, and brush as long as it doesn't affect their neighbors. So you're just not allowed to have a burn barrel in Washington at all. Let's check this out.
But that's crazy. I bury it? And I'm like, yeah, no. Just no.
Outdoor and residential burning. We regulate the burning of land, clearing debris, and residential yard waste in counties with no local clean air agency. Before you burn, check if you want to burn is legal. If you need a burn permit, burning is allowed in your area, and if there is a burn ban. Alternatives to burning. Grass cycle. Leave grass clippings on your lawn. Add nutrients back to the soil for a healthy lawn. Compost. Chip. Curbside pickup, community or neighborhood cleanup days, or landfills. Are we advocating landfills? Is that what we're doing? Okay. We're just advocating landfills now.
Bury that stuff.
I guess buried in the ground. I don't know.
Sorry.
You could get up to
anything, right?
You can be fined up to $10,000 per day for illegal burning. I didn't realize that burn barrels were illegal. I know a lot of people with burn barrels, so I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them that they're. I'm gonna be like, you guys are fucking criminals, you pieces of shit. You should go to jail, you fucking criminals. That's what I'm gonna tell them. You sons of bitches.
She just doesn't have any sense or water on her property, so she's kind of the last person that I want to have a burn barrel. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Vicky's dad makes burn piles, and then he lights them with diesel fuel.
Nice.
Because he's a wild man.
a good feel.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spill it on yourself.
D-Rock says, and where I live, they have gender reveal parties and burn down the forests. Yeah, I've seen the gender reveal things fails are just epically stupid. And I also don't understand it from the standpoint of, like, I saw a gender reveal thing that went bad, right? So clearly, obviously, stupid in its own right. But the only way that I could, like, really describe what was going on was, like, fireworks and all this stuff, right? And to me, like, in my head, I was like, they probably spent, like, $20,000 on this, right? And I'm like, just imagine how many memberships they could have gifted during a live stream with $20,000, and I would have revealed their gender eventually and not started a fire, right? It would have been win-win for everybody involved. But alas, no, they wasted a lot of money on Chinese fireworks. So, bad idea. Don't burn down the forest. It's real bad. Because, like, one of the things I've been kind of tracking with some video I've been shooting is some of the follow-ups to the forest fire video I was making, and still am making, I guess. Is some of the follow-ups to, like, the areas where it's growing back and things are growing back and stuff. But I think one of the sort of fundamental aspects of that video is, like, it will not be returned to what it was in my lifetime. Like, that's the key. The key is, like, it will never be returned to what it once was in my lifetime in the Northern Hemisphere, right? Like, when things get burned down, when we were down in Peru, for instance, like, we went to an area where it had been clear cut by locals to farm something. I don't know what they were farming, papayas or something. I don't know what they were farming. It was food. These are small time farmers, and they'd cut it down, and they'd cut it down like 20 years before. It basically had all regrown because there's really no growing season down by the equator. It just 365 days a year is a growing season there. It's either just raining or not raining. That's all that's going on down there. So, I can almost like fully understand the evolution of people's attitudes down there, in regards to the rainforest of, like, yeah, you cut it down, you burn it, you grow some stuff for a couple of years, and then you move on to another location. Like, not a big deal because it's just going to grow back, because they've actually grown back quite rapidly. You know, it being only like 20 years since they had cut it down, and then there was like 60-foot trees there already, and it was all filled back in. You could see that it was different. There was a difference in the canopy. Like, it would drop down and then drop back up, and you're like, okay. But it really would have been one of those things, like, had we been back if we go back in like 10 years, there probably will be zero difference. Like, without really investigating, like, what's going on in here. But around here, when that stuff burns down, it will not be back in my lifetime in the way that it was before, which is super weird for me to think about because, like, with how much hiking and mountaineering and stuff that I've done, especially in Washington, it's crazy to think, like, oh, man, that place where I've been to before had burned down, and I will never get to see that again, which is sort of a subtle reminder of, like, why photography is kind of important, I think, from the standpoint of, like, commemorating a lifetime of, like, things that you've seen or something like that. So it sort of continues my, like, oh, I should take those big panoramic pictures. It is worth it to carry the camera out there, the extra weight and all that stuff. It's worth it because I'm able to get those crazy landscape and like nature pictures that I'm like, yeah, I have so many of them, whatever. But that's kind of the weird thing. A forest fire could blow through an area, and it will like never be the same, right? In our lifetime, it'll eventually grow back. Yes, that's fine, but You know, it never will be unless I live to be like 300 years old or something. And to be honest with you, I don't think I want to live to be 300 years old. I don't know what my bills are going to look like by the time I'm 300 years old, and I don't look forward to that at all. It's going to be real expensive 260 years from now. It's going to be real expensive out. If you think it's bad now, just live for another 260 years and you'll see how bad it's going to be. It's going to be, I'm calling it now. I'm calling it right now. In the year 2264, it's going to be wicked expensive. You know what I mean? Wicked expensive. And we'll probably all be living on the poles by then. Like, the middle of the earth will just be unoccupied. We'll all be just living on the North Pole and Antarctica, right?
That $15,000 a month Patreon will be the regular base rate.
That'll be the base rate. I won't even cut the mustard. That'll be like a super sticker, right? Yeah. No. Frankly, I don't care what's going to be happening 260 years from now. There's no way I'm sticking it out. I'm not going to stick it out. If I get to 250 years, that's it. I'm hopping on an ice floe. If ice still exists, then I'm hopping on an ice floe and I'm going paddling out into the ocean. That's what I'm doing. Eskimo style, right? I'm going to be like, I'm too old for this world. Put me on the iceberg and send me out to sea, and eventually it'll melt and I'll drown to death.
No heading to space if the opportunity is there?
Well, you know, if we are going to space, it'll be within 100 years. So I'll probably have already had like at least 100 years experience being out in space. You know, the mech wars will probably be over by then. You know, the mechanized space battle in our
Right. AI will have
in our mech
sorted us
suits,
down here.
you know.
Will have escaped or not.
shooting space aliens, all that stuff. Oh, I've done all that stuff, and I'll be like, you know what? It's time to go back to my roots, to go old school. Just throw me out in the ocean. But if I do live to be 250, I bet my body will be like heavily modified with robotic parts by then, and then I might not be allowed to commit hara-kiri. You know what I mean? Like I might not be allowed to do that. So, because the robot parts might like take over and be like, no, we're not doing that. So who knows? It could be
living energy source.
It's going to be a weird world 250 years from now. I'm just telling you. I'm going to go out and make a bold statement that it's going to be a weird world. Weird? No. Weird world by then. Speaking of that, did you ever see the Tom Cruise Oblivion movie? Did you see that one?
I did not. I'm not a Cruise fan, so I tend to avoid his stuff. Is it good?
Yeah, it's fucking dope, dude. It's so good.
All right, I'll go watch it. I'll take your
It's
recommendation.
badass. It's 11 years old, and it doesn't even show its age. It really doesn't.
Nice.
And like, what was the other movie that he did? What was that? Oh fuck! Oh my god, I can't remember.
Alzheimer's is setting in, and you're not even 100.
Edge of Tomorrow. Did you ever see The Edge of Tomorrow
No.
with Tom Cruise and what's her butt? What's that lady's butt named? Emily Blunt.
No.
It's got Emily Blunt, Tom Cruise, Bill Paxton, Brendan Gleeson. You would know who that guy is.
It sounds familiar. It's probably one of those I'd recognize him kind of guys.
For sure. So The Edge of Tomorrow and Oblivion are like standout Tom Cruise movies in my mind, because they are not even like, they're not even Tom Cruise movies. He's just in them.
Okay.
He's just in them,
That
and
will
he's a
be
main
worth it
character.
then.
He's just in him, and he's a main character, and he's like I don't think he ever really had like script authority over them or something, or they were just so far out there that he just really didn't have like this massive input other than like doing stunts and shit. So it's very weird. It's very unique that like that he's in them, because you could replace Tom Cruise in them and it really wouldn't change the movie at all. Right? You'd just be like, there's a different guy who's playing the lead character. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like
Okay.
like he doesn't bring anything to the table that's like, oh, specifically Tom Cruise had to do this to make this make sense. Right? Like it could just be any average, like fairly athletic guy.
Right.
But also not required. But also not required.
Bradley Cooper or a random Affleck or whatever. Okay.
It could be anybody.
Right.
It could, that's what I'm saying. Like anybody could have played those roles, and there wasn't really any aspect to them that was like, oh, Tom Cruise needed to be the guy to do this, right?
Are they post-apocalyptic?
Yes, they both are.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that
They
seems
both-
kind of a go-to, because that seems to be a Paxton specialty.
yeah.
And does
Bill,
he live through the movie? Because that also seems to be a Paxton specialty.
to the extent of my knowledge, he does. But like The Edge of Tomorrow, I'll watch this movie like probably once a year.
Wow. All right.
And I'll be like, fuck yeah. And then I'm like, when's the second one coming out? And apparently everybody's on board to make another one.
Who?
And people are constantly asking him about it. And it's been 11 years. And you're like, what the? Get off your ass and go make it. But tagged to that is Constantine 2. And it took Constantine 2. Like, how long?
Right.
When was the original Constantine? It was 2005. So it took him 20 years to make Constantine 2. So, you know, that's how it goes.
Keanu had to stew in his own juices for a little while.
Yeah, because I think Constantine 2 comes out next year. I believe that they're done shooting it. I think.
I love that movie. Mostly because I love Tilda Swinton. So.
Right. But she died.
I know. I'm sad about that part. But
It's
I
weird.
Still love her.
It's weird that they're making I Am Legend 2. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I Am Legend was really good as a standalone, and it's kind of weird that they're making number 2. But I guess it's like Michael B. Jordan is like the main character, I think.
No more Will. All right.
Well, I think Will Smith's in it, but he plays like he's old.
The
And
mentor sort of
I believe
scenario.
I believe Michael B. Jordan plays his son. I think is the synopsis, right?
Okay.
I think that was
Grown
the I believe that was the synopsis, is that Michael B. Jordan like portrays his son. Hold on. Over 15 years, I Am Legend 2 sequel to 2007. Yeah, okay. So Michael B. Jordan signing and Will Smith shockingly returning, even though Smith rarely returns for sequels, which I don't understand that sentence because he did Bad Boys 3, right?
Not only am I returning for a sequel, but Bad Boys 3 of all sequels.
Right.
Anyway.
Oh, I guess maybe they haven't shot the principals or whatever, but last I had heard that they had shot the principals was my understanding, but this is saying that they don't know. They don't know when it's coming out. So I don't know about that. But Constantine 2, the principals are shot, and it's supposed to be coming out next year. It has a release date for next year. Which would be cool. I'll be actually excited to see that one. So, it's a rare Keanu Reeves doing well. But yeah, speaking of sequels and movies, we went to go see, and a rare in a rare parent maneuver over the weekend, we got to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, which is the third installment of the Deadpool saga. I don't know what do you want to call it, the Deadpool films. I was a sort of like lackluster Deadpool fan when I was younger. Like I sort of knew who Deadpool was, and I believe I'd read a bunch of the comics and stuff like that, but I would never really said I was like a huge fan of Deadpool. But I was a huge fan of Wolverine, like every red-blooded American boy is definitely a big fan of Wolverine, right? I believe I believe one of the apex of my comic book collection when I was a kid was the original #2 Wolverine. Was one of my favorite comics that I owned.
Wow.
It was Wolverine versus Kitty Pryde, I think.
That is a collector coup.
Yeah. You know, now I did own all of the Wolverines from the 80s, those ones, but I actually owned the original #2. And I don't think, is this the right one? No, that's not the right one. I gotta find it. I mean, here's the weird thing. You would imagine that these comic book websites would have their shit figured out a little bit better, but apparently not. Apparently they don't. Apparently, all right, hold on. Oh, this is a reading order. Oh, this isn't helpful. Okay. Not helpful. Also not helpful. You would figure that there'd be like shitloads of websites that were like super helpful with all of the Wolverines, right? But no. Apparently not. Well, this is fucking annoying. Okay. Huh. Yeah, well, I don't know. We're going to have to move on because this is not very exciting where I'm like looking at these websites and going like, what the fuck is wrong? These...
Does the publisher page not have it? Like the straight DC, is it? Don't kill me. I don't remember who goes to which. Is Wolverine DC?
No, Wolverine's not DC.
Marvel. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Marvel.
My bad.
Marvel. I don't know. This is not very helpful. None of these websites are very helpful. I don't know. I just assumed like, oh yeah, they must have really comprehensive comic book websites, but I'm just experiencing some of the most ridiculous shit
Niche
I've seen.
sites that you didn't need.
Yeah, these are horrific. I don't know. I mean, we'll,
dedicated to that one character we saw in a single issue in 2 panels on page 12.
right. Yeah, this is like so not helpful.
So how was the movie?
Well, yeah, I'll explain that in a second. I'm just being flabbergasted by how shitty this internet. This is fucking ridiculous. This is so bad, unbelievably bad. Like they don't have a single, like they don't have a singular like website that makes any fucking sense at all. This is crazy. Like the Wolverine #1 they have posted as the 1988 #1 Wolverine comic, but that's not the #1. That's not the first one. That's like the second volume #1, right? That they released in like 1988. Which of course I own that one because I was alive when it was new at the store. You know, I think I bought it at 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But these websites are just like so god awfully bad. I don't understand. Like, what the fuck, bro? I don't know who's curating all of these comic book websites. They're obviously like fucking nerds, right? But I don't know why the nerds don't have their shit together. Like, this is like you can't even navigate this in like any kind of, I don't know. I'll fuck that. I'm stopping because that's just infuriating. All right, we're closing that window and we're moving on. Anyhow, back to the movie. Like the movie was fun. Okay, like I'll put it that way. It was fun. Do I feel like you have to see it in the theater? Probably not. It's probably going to be streaming in 6 to 8 weeks, and you could probably just watch it at home. There really is a bunch of like visual stuff that happens in it, so it's probably kind of cool to see it in the theater, I guess. But there's nothing so much as like a spectacle that was like, oh, you had to see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm trying to think of something that like you should have seen in IMAX. Oh, remember when the Blue Planet show came out?
Mm-hmm.
It was like the Disney Channel and National Geographic like combined forces to make a big IMAX, the Blue Planet series. Like going to see that in IMAX is probably 100% worth it, right? Because almost everything there was like visually based. Like, look at this amazing insanity or whatever, right? That is our planet. Which it probably would have been totally worthwhile to go see in IMAX. Whereas Deadpool and Wolverine, it's a lot of jokes and antics and things that I don't think necessarily like, oh, you had to be at the theater to see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I would say like if you get the opportunity, it was fun. And it definitely isn't a movie that you would need to see at night. So I feel like if you went to go see a matinee, you'll probably like be laughing and have some fun at some of the jokes and stuff. But the one thing that I don't like is just like the overly pandering. Just how much like pandering there is, right? Is to the audience, right?
Oh, okay, I see.
It's like it's constant, you know. I mean, it's constant like callbacks. It's constant. It's constantly like, oh, you remember this song, you know, like, but it's all the time, you know. So it does get pretty repetitive with the callbacks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a big fight scene and they're playing Madonna's Like a Prayer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the only reason they're playing Madonna's Like a Prayer is that like, oh, it's absurd that there would be a graphic fight scene to this song, but really like is a bunch of people in their 30s and 40s are going to be like, oh, hell yeah, Madonna. You know what I mean? like, like, I haven't heard this Madonna song in, you know.
Right.
Which I think it's good to have some of that peppered in, but like it really feels like constantly pandering to these callbacks that it sort of like loses out on its novelty, or it loses out on its like storytelling, because there never really is like a point where you're not being slapped with, you know, a character that's being played by somebody that's famous. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are a lot of cameos. There's a lot of like fourth wall breaks that is like kind of a Deadpool thing. But the fourth wall breaks, I feel like, were overplayed. Like he was constantly breaking the fourth wall. Like to me, it makes sense to break the fourth wall because it's like there's like a shock value of it, right? That you're like, oh, I'm invested in this story, and then whoop, he brings you out into the fact that like oh shit, they know I'm watching this movie, right? Kind of thing. Like the characters know that they're in a movie, you know.
Right.
Like there's a shock value to that. And I felt like there's just so many cameos and so many like fourth wall breaks and so much pandering to like shit that happened in the 80s that it took away from the story. Like there was so much of it that it took away from the story. And this is my opinion. But yeah, there never really was a point where you felt like, oh wow, these characters are at risk. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to empathize with the characters like being in danger, but you're like, there's not really any danger here because I'm watching a movie because the character in the movie just told me it was a movie, like 5 times in the last 6 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
and the like the real issues with the multiverse stuff are becoming glaring, right? Like just the fact that like anything that ever happens can just be undone. Anybody that dies, you could just like go find a replacement of them. Like the whole
come back evil.
well, it's like the thing with like the Thanos snap. Like the Thanos snap was effective because it killed half of everybody and it killed a bunch of the superheroes, right? And a bunch of the superheroes were gone. And then when they Thanos unsnapped, it's like, oh, nothing really matters. Like anybody that dies, you could just go get some Infinity Stones, put them in a glove, snap your fingers. Oh, they're back. You know, and like the only downside with the snap returns is that like, you know, people had essentially evolved while the other people didn't evolve, and then that created a lot of conflict with people, I guess, which is weird because like it's hard to empathize or sympathize with the characters that have created all this conflict because like those ones were dead, but these ones weren't dead. But why would you be like, oh yeah, well, you know, it's been 5 years and so fuck you. You know, like why would anybody be doing that? Like I don't think anybody I mean, you know, like there might be like 1 or 2 people, or there might be like some people around, like a few of them that were like, oh, my spouse got Thanos snapped. I went and got a new spouse. I moved on, but it's because I probably wanted to get split up with them anyhow. And now I don't want to get back together with them because like I already wanted to not be with them or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. So my point there was like the multiverse thing has sort of like taken away consequences, right? Like consequences don't exist anymore. Zipgun says, but that has been a criticism of comic books forever. What's the meme? The only character who stayed dead was Uncle Ben. Like I get that for like so like with comic books, I feel like written entertainment being a different medium is sort of kind of allowed to do whatever they want, because as we know with like Star Wars, it's like, do you have canon that's like actually the storyline, or do you have legends, which is like not storyline, or do you have the you know, you have like the fan theories, you have all this different stuff, but like you're not exposed to it in a continuous string of thought, I guess is kind of the way to put it. I would think, because like the way that the movies are going, they're connecting them all, right? And all of the movies up until like the Thanos snap, like if somebody died, they essentially stayed dead unless we found out that like somehow they didn't die or whatever. But like since then with the multiverse thing, it's like, oh, you just go get somebody from a different timeline and they just pick up where, you know, where we left off. Right? Which is weird. And like the Deadpool Wolverine, like they sort of address that a fair bit during that movie. In sort of a campy way, but like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like the stakes have been completely removed. Like there's no stakes in the game anymore, right? Of like, yeah, if you die, we'll just go to Earth 1042 and we'll go get another Superman, you know? Like we just went over there. We got that Superman. We brought him over here.
That's how I felt reading the Heinlein books back in the day with his multiverse thing. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing that like comic books do that, but like comic books go through like different phases of like, oh yeah, none of that shit ever happened. I'm just picking up like, you know, Wolverine volume 2 essentially is like, yeah, don't worry about all that shit. We're just starting over a whole new story with the same characters or whatever. But I don't know that there was ever a like one continuous author / illustrator / publisher that like was just completely killing off their character and then resurrecting them over and over again. I might be wrong. There's none that I could think of. You know, it's like when Superman died, they tried to replace Superman, I guess, like when that went on. But I would always argue that like it was pretty stupid to have done that. So, you know, with the Superman 4 characters, like they did the
Bizarro and
like they had 4 different Superman. Like I was trying to remember when this was. When was this, like the late 80s, early 90s? That Superman died in the comics, and then they were going to replace Superman with one of 4 potential with like 4 potential characters. It was like in the 90s.
okay.
Of course, every headline right now is like, "Can Henry Cavill come back as Superman?" It's like, no, you already got let go. Let's see.
Boy, talk about killing the goose that laid the golden egg. I can't imagine a franchise going, let's just kill off Superman. Nobody will notice.
Okay, we have to figure this out. Because Superman died. The death of Superman. Here we go. When did he die? Yeah. December 1992 to 1993. It was the reign of Superman, I think. But I wanted to look up who the Supermen were, because they basically had 4 replacement Superman, right? Like they had Superman, the Man of Steel. I can't remember what 4 they were. Superboy, Steel Cyborg, Superman, and Blind Superman. Yeah, it was something like that, right?
I got Cyborg Superman, Connor Kent, Steel, and the Eradicator. Are those them? Because that's the Death of Superman saga.
Yeah, that could be right. Yeah, there was like a boy one. There was one where he was made out of steel.
That was probably Steel. Then
There was
the
one-
Eradicator.
Yeah, there was one that he was a cyborg. There was one that he was like a young kid.
Yep.
One a cyborg.
was
One where he's
Connor
like
Kent.
made out of steel. Yeah, I can't remember. There was 4. Okay, there was essentially like 4 replacement Superman that were Superman, right? And essentially what they were doing is like they wanted people to vote. They wanted kids, comic book kids, to they wanted people to vote on who the replacement Superman would be.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
whoever like won the vote was essentially going to be the new Superman, right? And it was just like a total flop, because like essentially what happened is like, let's say you had one of the variants of it got 35% or something. It's like, oh, that's the one that won. Well, now you have like 65% that didn't want that,
Yeah.
right? And so you're like, it was a total flop because it just pissed people off. Like, it was just so stupid. Which, of course, now I can't find the Superman versus Doomsday. Like, there's Doomsday, Superman versus Doomsday, blah, blah, blah. And I think, wasn't it Doomsday that killed him, right?
I believe so. Let me look. I sent you that article that I pulled my info
Yeah, I think it
from.
was like Superman and Doomsday like fought to the death, and I think like they both like killed each other at the end.
Yep.
But like when they went on to like replace, oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. A number of characters in the death, such as Doomsday, Superboy, Cyborg, Superman. Then there's Steel, who's like the Man of Steel, and the Eradicator. The one that won was the Man of Steel, who was essentially John Henry Irons as Steel, as he appeared on the cover of Steel Volume 2, August 1994. He was basically like the replacement of Superman. He was a genius engineer who built a mechanized suit of armor that mirrors Superman's powers, and initially sought to replace him after he was killed by Doomsday. So, basically what happened is that this Steel replaced Superman after Superman died, right? But Steel replaced Superman as a vote of those 4 different Supermans were the ones that it was the one that won, which essentially, like I said, like let's say he got 40% of the vote. Now you've pissed off 60% of your viewers that wanted to see the other Superman, right? The other Supermen, whichever one that they wanted. So what they then had to do was resurrect Superman. Right?
Right.
Because they were like, oh, we have to bring back regular Superman. It's the only thing because now everybody's fucking pissed. Right? Mainly because people are not invested in the other character. That's the problem. And, one of the problems with this was they had an idea that was like, oh, if we can get the fans to vote on what they want us to replace Superman with, then they'll all be invested in the fact that like, well, Superman died, but we'll be invested in the new character. So then we'll start buying the comics because we're invested in the new character. But it's like, that's not how you get invested in a character. You get invested in a character through story, like empathy and sympathy, those two things. Like you either empathize or you sympathize with a character, and you either want them to succeed or you want them to fail, depending on which side of the coin that they land on, right? And then you want to continue to consume from them because you are invested in either the sympathy or empathy side of the coin, and you've already been like following along and you want to see where this progresses, right? Where you suddenly take this like divergent thing where you go off on this hard left-hand turn, and then you go, oh, these people will be invested because they voted for the superhero replacement. It doesn't really work that way because they're not empathizing or sympathizing. It just like plucked a thing out and then put it in where the thing that you cared about existed before, and you're not, you don't give a fuck about any of this.
They're just mad at everybody.
Yeah, and so it's like that like the idea was like, we'll give the fans what they want is a great, like, it's a great thing to think about, right? It's a great like, oh, this idea comes from a good place, right? It comes from like a place of good intention of like, well, we'll give them what they want because once they have the option, they'll be able to choose, then they'll get what they want. But unfortunately, like in storytelling, that can't necessarily be, that's not going to be something that's going to create empathy or sympathy. It's just going to create resentment, right?
Right.
Because you don't want to just be told that like everything's a happy ending. Like there has to be consequences in this type of entertainment, right? Like I Am Legend was like a good standalone movie. It's weird that they're doing a part 2. Maybe they do a good job of doing a part 2 or whatever, but like I Am Legend was a good movie because like there's a beginning, there's the consequences to the previous actions, and then this movie is him. It's him like trying to make right the consequences from before the movie, which we have flashbacks to. The consequence of his actions previous to the movie are what the conflict is now, and then he's trying to like make amends for what he considers to be failures of the past, right? Which he's like trying to save that lady and her kid. Or is it just the lady? The lady and the kid, right?
Lady and the kid, yes.
Yeah, the lady and the kid. He's trying to save them because he couldn't save his wife and his kid previously, right? And he tried desperately to do that, and then it turns out that like the only way that he was able to save them was to sacrifice himself to it beckons back to the previous storytelling of the past, where like the hero has to sacrifice himself. It goes all the way back to long before the Bible, because the heroes always have to sacrifice themselves, whether they're Achilles with a flaw or
Beowulf or
like they all have to end up sacrificing themselves, the ultimate sacrifice, right, in order to amend themselves. So it all goes way back, to a million years ago, essentially. But the big fault of the MCU is like you don't sympathize, you don't empathize, and there's no consequences, right? Because they're able to just and then it's just all back to normal, and
That's right.
like with the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, right? There's not even consequences to that motherfucker and his goddamn acting career to deciding to not do Iron Man anymore, right?
Right.
Like, there's not even consequences to the real life actor no longer being in the MCU because now he just gets to come back as Doctor Doom now. Like,
Yeah.
what in the hot fuck out of the 8 billion people on the planet, you couldn't have picked some other unknown actor? Just any other unknown actor. There's Doctor Doom. There he is. He can do this for the next fucking 20 years. And then when he retires and decides he doesn't want to do Doctor Doom anymore, the story can be written so that he dies somehow and we don't have to deal with that character anymore, right?
Right.
But there's not even consequences to the goddamn actors' careers when they decide not to do Iron Man anymore. Right? Because they just get to come back as a different character. Like Josh Brolin playing Cable and Thanos is fucking abysmal. Absolutely fucking abysmal. What the fuck is wrong with Disney? What the fuck is wrong with Marvel? Oh, we need Josh Brolin to play 2 of the best characters that Marvel has. He gets to play 2 of them for some godforsaken reason, and now Cable can't come back as a character. Right? Because Josh Brolin is Thanos now. Does Josh Brolin want to come back and play Cable again? No. Josh Brolin was Thanos.
Right.
And you're like,
The only one
are
who
you...
gets to switch is Green Lantern, and
It's so fucking ridiculous. It's unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds got to play Deadpool and Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern was a huge mistake, and original Deadpool was a huge mistake. Truly monumental mistakes, but excuse me. But like, it's like at the very least, learn from your mistakes. At the very least, learn from your mistake that like Cable can't come back in your universe, right? Like Cable can't return now because Josh Brolin isn't going to play Cable. Cable is one of the best characters. He's one of my favorite characters of all comic book history. Can't come back because Josh Brolin was Thanos and probably doesn't want to come back or needs $600 billion or something to come do it or whatever. Like, what in the hot fuck balls, man? It's so fucking insane that they're doing this. And it's unbelievable. It's so fucking unbelievable that they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and he gets to play Doctor Doom. Bitch, you already got to be fucking... You got to be Sherlock Holmes. You got to be Iron Man.
Iron Man.
I don't know who else you got to be. I'm not that well versed in Robert Downey. What's that?
Charlie
Yeah,
Chaplin.
you got to be Charlie Chaplin. You got to be all this shit. Like, you decided to quit the Marvel. You decided to quit doing Marvel movies. You don't get to come back now. It's not fucking fair, and it's not that I want to play Doctor Doom now. To be 100% honest with you guys, if somebody gave me a $1 million contract to go play Doctor Doom, I would take it in a second and go do that. But that's not my motivation here. My motivation here is as a fan. Like, why am I getting ripped off as a fan with Robert Downey Jr. getting to come back to the Marvel universe as Doctor Doom?
They want the name recognition.
It's retarded. We don't need it. Like,
I know.
I don't know.
I think they're aiming at the people who don't know the characters, and therefore.
Oh, he got to play Dr. Doolittle also. That's
Yeah.
true.
He
He should be doing sequels to Dr. Doolittle, you know?
That was such a weird move for me. I mean, we have Eddie Murphy as Dr. Doolittle. We have, I don't know. I wasn't down for that one.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, we don't, Like, people don't go see a Marvel movie because Robert Downey Jr. is in it, is my point. Right?
Well, I don't know that that's
Who?
completely true.
Who?
I have cousins who've never watched comic book movies in their lives and love and will show up at any Robert Downey Jr. movie that shows.
What?
I know they're weird. I know lots
I
of
don't.
people
I don't.
like
I don't.
that.
I fundamentally, I don't. Not to be argumentative or whatever. Like, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. It's like people are like, "Oh, there's a big blockbuster movie." They go see it, right? Like, there are probably some people that are that way with specific actors or whatever, that they're like, "Oh, I want to catch that movie," you know, like, "Oh, it's got Scarlett Johansson in it. I want to go see it." I don't know. I'm just thinking of another Marvel person or whatever. Like, sure, that probably exists, but like, that is one half of 1% of the fucking movie going audience, right? Like, it is such a tiny denominator. Like, in this day and age, even more so. Like, I could understand back in the 50s if somebody was like, "Oh my God, Frank Sinatra's in a movie," you know, people would like go see that movie. "Oh my God, I got to go see that movie. I got to go down to the Five and Dime and go get me some Cracker Jack so I can go see the Frank Sinatra flick." Yeah, I'm sure that was the case, you know.
Why did I feel like the Monopoly Man was just
While they were
doing
like,
that?
yeah, while they smoked 8,000 cigarettes in the movie theater. Yeah, sure. I'm sure that existed at some point. But like, this day and age, with so much fucking content that exists now, so many movies that exist now, like Michael Keaton is a
thing to
like Michael
explain why
Keaton like Michael Keaton is an amazing actor, right?
right?
But like, people are not going to go see Beetlejuice because simply Michael Keaton's in it, right? Like, there might be one or two people that do that, but out of the 40 million people that go, I'm serious when I say it's maybe 4 people, 5 people or something out of the 40 million or whatever, right? That are like, "I have to see every Michael Keaton flick." But those are also like the hoarder people that have OCD, right? They've saved every newspaper that they've ever received in their entire lives. Like, yes, there are like these fringe crazy people that will do crazy things, sure. But I'm just talking like the movie going audience is not like, "Oh my God, we have to go because Robert Downey Jr.'s in it," you know? Like, I just, you know, like, people aren't going to the Fast and the Furious movies because The Rock is in it, right?
Right.
Like, they're going because it's the number 11 or whatever, and they've already seen 10 of them, right?
Right.
Because there's even Fast and Furious movies that don't have the Dwayne in them. They don't have the like, what is it? Fast and Furious 2 doesn't even have what's his name? That guy. Who's the fucking
The one who
dude?
died?
The guy. Who's that guy? Hold on.
Vince?
Vin Diesel. Yeah, that guy.
Vin Diesel, rather? There you go.
Like, which one was he not in? He wasn't in number 2, right? No, number
I don't know.
2.
I've never seen any of them.
Number 2. Which one's the Too Fast, Too Furious? Okay, he's in number 2. Is it number 3 he's not in? Or the Tokyo Drift? Tokyo Drift, he's not in it, I don't
Tokyo
think.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, like Tokyo Drift, like, he's not even in it. You right? Like, I mean,
I thought
so
he just did like a weird cameo or something, as I recall from the
yeah,
life.
maybe
I
there's
don't
like
know.
a part where they were like, "I was in Las Vegas and there was this guy," you know, or whatever. I don't know, but I'm just saying that, like, there's even Fast and Furious movies that don't have Vin Diesel or The Rock in them, right? Like, even the first Fast and the when did he show up? In the 5th one, The Rock shows up? Yeah, The Rock shows up in like number 5. Actually, I'm looking at it here. I have no idea. Would not know this off the top of my head. But like, The Rock shows up in the Fast and the Furious 5, right?
Right.
And then he's
Okay.
he's in it. But like, I don't think anybody's going to see that because The Rock's in it. I think they're going to see it because they already saw 8 of them or however many the fuck there are. How many are there? 11?
And 11 or 12?
Fast and the Furious 10 Part 2 comes out in 2026. Holy fuck, it takes 3 years to make one of these pieces of shit? Like, my God.
Like some weird Hobbit variant we didn't know about? I don't understand.
I don't even understand. It's crazy. But my point is that like I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the draw that brings people to come see.
What the hell is that? Somebody racing into your garage?
Yeah, there's people driving their motorcycles.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, I get infuriated by people driving motorcycles way too much, and it makes Vicky mad. Because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, people riding motorcycles ride them like fucking assholes. They do.
Right.
They bob and weave in and out of traffic. They speed. They have no muffler on their exhaust. It's like 200 decibels when they fucking blow by you on the freeway, right? So if you have your window down, good luck for the guy who has hearing damage in one of his ears that I got to hear fucking 200 decibel guy like blow his fucking exhaust on my ear, and it makes my ear ring and it pisses me off. Like, meanwhile, bobbing in and out of traffic like an asshole, doing fucking popping wheelies and shit in traffic, bobbing and weaving out of traffic. Then they have the fucking audacity to be like, oh, people driving their cars aren't even watching out for motorcycles. They aren't even watching out for us. They're trying to fucking kill us, you know? And it's like, hey, bitch, everyone else is doing fucking 65 miles an hour. You're doing 85 and changing lanes in between cars. Like, making 3-lane changes, driving on the shoulder to pass cars, doing all this crazy shit. And we're supposed to, like, watch out for your safety? Like, motherfucker, you aren't watching out for your own safety.
Right.
Suddenly it's my prerogative to, like, it's my job to watch out for these motorcyclists, you know? And like, fucking bikers drive me nuts. And that right there is a perfect example. I live on a fucking side road with a school zone. There's a school zone right there. And I'm on a side road back here. I'm not even remotely on a main drag at all. And
in a room with sound deadening walls.
You go 3 houses down, and there is a fucking absolute hairpin turn right down there with shitloads of arrow signs on it because people will race to go take that hairpin turn and crash into something at least once or twice a year. And there are so many arrows on that turn. It is a super tight turn. Whoever designed it was a fucking idiot, but regardless, that's the road. It does like a hairpin 90. It's crazy. But that guy was headed towards that 90-degree hairpin turn down there. That was making that much noise with his motorcycle. That's why it's like everyone around here just gets so fucking pissed off about like people driving down this road. Because it is a side road. This is a tiny little 2-lane road. Like, it's a little tiny side street, and people take it so that they don't have to. There's like a main drag, like a, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile that way, where people get stuck behind the train. Like, there's a train that
stops or lights.
There's a train that goes across, and so like the lights there get all fucked up because the train goes by. And then the traffic gets backed up. So then people will drive down a side road and then up our side road to try and get around the traffic. And then, of course, they're gunning it like fucking maniac. You know, and obviously school's not in right now, but normally there's like just a bunch of fucking 8-year-olds and shit out there like, hey, I'm school, meh. You know, like, so it's added danger, you know, on top of it. Is that like, what are you doing? We're on a side road. It's fucking 20 miles an hour. You know, like, what are you doing? So it's annoying, but yeah. But the bikers on the freeway, like, extra piss me off because I see them doing stupid shit all the time. And then it's like, I'm supposed to be, like, responsible for their safety. Like, I'm supposed to be double, triple, quadruple checking to see if a motorcycle guy just came flying up and is right next to me in my blind spot or something? Or am I supposed to know that that guy's doing 100 miles an hour, and if I change lanes now, he will be in my blind spot in 30 seconds?
Wrong time, right?
Right, and then I'm going to crash into him? Like, how the fuck is anybody supposed to know that? Yeah. You know, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, the motorcycle people drive me nuts. And I always say this to Vicky. I'm like, yeah, not all bikers, huh? As I see them do dipshit stuff all the fucking time whenever we're driving around. And like yesterday was a perfect example. So there was a huge traffic jam coming back from Eastern Washington. We left Wenatchee at 10:30 and didn't get home until after 5 o'clock.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour drive.
Oh, God. It is a 3-hour. It's 7 at Jesus.
Yeah.
Was it
So
construction or just shit?
There was
Judas.
no construction on Sundays, right?
Oh, that's true. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
God. All
It was
right.
Sunday during the day. Like Sunday night, sometimes there's construction, or like Saturday night, depending on time of year. But they normally do that. You know, you pull the lane at like 7 p.m., 7 p.m. And then the lane's like officially closed like from 8 p.m. until like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. depending on what day of the week it was when we were doing, when I used to do road work.
Right.
And, but this was like Sunday, middle of the day, but like everyone's stuck in this traffic jam. Everyone's just trying to make their best of it. And yet we're on Highway 2, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been on Highway 2. It's a 2-lane highway with no real shoulder on it. It's real small. It goes through the mountains. And,
And
but
if
of
you
course,
fall off, bad things happen.
the bikers are riding their motorcycles down the shoulder, right? All the cars are stopped, and they're doing like 40 and shifting, riding on the shoulder. And a tiny shoulder, it's a fucking bicycle width shoulder. And they're just flying down the side of the shoulder, and I'm like, how's this even remotely fucking cool? And the thing about it is that we were stuck in this traffic jam, and like fire crews kept going up and down Highway 2. The ambulances, the fire ambulances and shit. I don't know where they were going because I never saw a car crash or anything like that. So, but those guys are keep going down Highway 2, and because it's a 2-lane highway, they drive down the center of the freeway or the highway, right? So that the cars that are going 60 miles an hour have time to see them and slow down and pull over on that side. But then all of the cars that are stopped on this side have to like crank their wheel and like move over into the tiny bit of shoulder so that those guys can be going down. So that's the weird thing, is that like the motorcycle guys driving on the shoulder might have no fucking clue that right up there's like, the fire or behind them, the fire ambulance car is coming. The fire aid car is coming.
Right.
And that all of a sudden these cars are all going to turn over real quick. And then, motorcycle guy hits the passenger side of somebody's car, goes flying off into the trees. And then, of course, It's like somehow this is the fucking driver's fault, right? I'm like,
Exactly.
get fucked, dude. It's so fucking stupid, so fucking selfish. And, Vicky was like, oh, but just imagine, because it's like 100 degrees out. It's like, just imagine like you're on your motorcycle and you're sitting in the sun and just how hot and sweaty you are or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that sucks and is annoying, but they chose to drive their motorcycle in 100-degree weather. I don't, like I see motorcycle guys driving in the rain and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like it's pouring down rain on the freeway, and maybe they didn't have another option or whatever, but it's like nobody forced them to buy a motorcycle and be a biker. Like no one forced them to do that. Like you chose to do it. So deal with your fucking personal lifestyle choices, right? Like supposed to deal with your personal lifestyle choices. Water Lover says, hello from Tijuana, Mexico. You should see motorcycle riders here. They think they are the kings of the streets. Actually, when I was in Mexico, I was on one of the air quote public buses there. They're the ones that you pay like, I think at the time, this is a long time ago, you paid like 2 or 3 pesos or whatever to ride these buses. They're like old school buses that are like painted blue, and they're driven by personal driver. Like normally the driver owns this bus and then just drives it around where they find to be most profitable. When one day when I was down there driving, I was riding on one of those buses, and that bus crashed into another bus, and they got out and figured it out, and it turned out there wasn't a lot of damage, but that was kind of hairy. And that same bus driver, like a week later, was driving down, and a motorcycle guy was doing some bullshit over here, and they just boop, and the motorcycle guy hit the side of the bus, fell off his motorcycle, and the bus driver was like, kind of did the lean look at the mirror, and then was like, I'm gonna keep going because I don't want to deal with whatever that was all about.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, and it was like, well, I don't know, maybe you don't stop in Mexico. I don't know. That's kind of the thing. When I was there, it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna tell this guy he should stop or not, or no. It seems like he kind of knew what happened and he's not stopping. Let's not get too invested in this guy's business, you know, kind of thing. It was like, oh shit. But yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him in Mexico when I was there.
I'd forgotten that Highway 20 was closed, or State Route 20 was closed yesterday, so that's probably why 2 was so busy.
Is it closed again?
Yep, they were routing everybody through 2 or 90 yesterday. 8 a.m. started the closure, and there's no ETA for reopening.
Oh, because of fire at Granite Creek?
That's the one.
Easy Pass.
There's 2. Or it's between those 2, rather.
It's between those 2, Granite Creek and Easy Pass.
Ish.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why I was so busy, but I mean,
It's just a bad time to go driving through there.
I mean,
anyway.
I went through a whole dissertation with Vicky as to like why Highway 2 is fucked up. I've been driving that road since I was like 5. I would go out there with my dad all the time. We had property over in Iniat, and we would drive Highway 2 like every weekend. And it's always been fucked, especially on Sundays, because everyone's returning from that side. And it's there's an issue with it that just basically has to do with like traffic control and like the way that the roads are set up. And the one thing that would amend it is getting rid of all of the traffic lights on Highway 2 and replacing them all with roundabouts. But in the few spots where they've been able to put in roundabouts, people are in such outrage because
There's a roundabout.
they're fucking hill folk and they can't seem to understand that there's a roundabout, or like how to fucking understand that like this will mean that you would be able to drive to town on Sunday if you wanted to, as opposed to there just being this unpassable traffic jam. But you know, it is what it is. They're protesting. It's like the anti-maskers are protesting roundabouts. It's fucking crazy.
That one just outside of East Wenatchee is always just idiots or us. Cracks me up. And they put one in right there at going up to 20 from Wenatchee, that new one that they've added there at the end of East Wenatchee, and everybody is just completely stymied by it. So
Right.
it just makes me laugh watching people drive 3 times around it before they figure out how to get off of it.
Right. How to like go.
Yes.
Just drive your car. So the Easy Fire is burning in Methal, in the Methal Valley. Which, by the way, I love the Methal Valley. By the way, it's so Raven or whatever.
Always.
Oh, it's up to 1,000 acres. Jesus,
Yep.
Jesus, it's out of control. Oh, fucking what the shit is this? Okay, incredibly difficult to navigate websites. That's the name of the game today.
No one likes you. Google's mad at you.
It's not Google. I think it has more to do with these websites. They're so fucking weird. I mean, I think they're optimized for like mobile, and then they've somehow managed to optimize them like so much for mobile that like they don't seem to work well on computer anymore, which is just not the way to design your website.
No.
Okay, so you go up Diablo Lake and then Easy Pass is over on the other side. So the fire is like right on the freeway. That's why. Okay. It's right on Highway 20.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder if a biker was riding on Highway 20 and throwing his cigarettes out or something, you know. Probably had to do with
More
bikers.
likely somebody's chain was dragging as they towed their boat or trailer over the pass.
You have no idea how much I see people throw cigarettes out the window still.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Odd.
It's fucking nuts, dude. And by the way, it's like when you're driving at early morning at night and stuff, and it's still dark out. I see so many people throwing their fucking cigarettes out of windows, and it's obvious because it's dark out, like so you can see, you know.
You can see the
You see him fucking do it. It's nuts. I'm like, I do not understand how anybody in 2024 is throwing their lit cigarettes out the window, but they are, and it's just so it's befuddling. I mean, it's literally like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, how is this even a thing?
There was a guy cutting metal on the other side of the lake in Oroville Saturday who started a 400-acre brush fire right above the lake during the jet ski races.
Smooth.
And then none of the jet skiers would get out of the way of the planes while they were dipping for water.
Oh my God.
So there was that. I mean, people just aren't smart is my basic premise here. Hey, there's a plane coming at me. I'll play chicken with it.
The jet ski racers. The jet ski racers are the bikers of the waterway. Yeah.
It's true. And everybody's mad because, of course, they treated the lake so that the algae would not ruin said jet skis, and now nobody wants to swim in the lake because they dumped chemicals in it. So there's just no winning. It was a bad weekend overall for the lake.
What chemicals do they dump in the lake?
I don't know. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on a second.
That's crazy. Hopefully, whatever chemical it is, it kills milfoil. I hope.
I think that was the goal, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Noxious Weed Control Board. Always a fun one. See if
Are
we
they
can find the
actually
more
trying
recent
to
one.
control milfoil with chemical? 'Cause that doesn't work. The easiest way to get rid of milfoil is to aerate the water.
I want to see posts I've seen.
Oh, my fish tank lights have turned off.
Yes.
Everybody
happened to
sleeping
all-
in there? Go to sleep.
Oh,
Lights
no,
out. Lights out!
It's bedtime, you stupid fish. Now do it.
Fish aren't even listening. These damn fish. Damn these fish!
Don't they know?
What do we need?
Trying to find where it went. Looks like it's on the Canada side, actually.
Canada.
Blame Canada!
I can't blame Canada.
They're
They
doing
sent
a
us-
$51 million lake water treatment plant in its
They
future
sent us
spending.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, it's milfoil treatment. Yeah.
I knew it. Little do they know it doesn't work.
Well, they did it anyway. Aquatic weed control treatment on the lake. Airboats will be utilized during these applications.
During these applications.
That's right.
Oh, am I in the wrong spot? I might have been in the wrong spot.
I don't know. What spot are you in? I'm not watching you. I'm looking stuff up.
Nobody knows.
Oh, you disappeared completely. You've gone green screen.
Yes.
Is there a risk in our future?
Probably.
Ooh,
I figured I'd set it up while I could, you know. There we go.
That's right.
I figured we could set it up. Oh, fuck, that light's balls bright. It's too bright. It's too bright, man.
Balls bright is an interesting concept. Like light shines from the fly. I don't understand.
It's so many balls. You can't even wrap your mind around it. It's too much.
A lot of balls, man.
It's too much balls, bro. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying when I say too much balls?
Proceller core herbicide.
Oh, that would be the one.
Endothol, Blumagard, Diquat. Those are the 4 they'll be putting in.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds delightful.
Hey, you're totally safe to go swimming in it.
Oh, it's totally safe?
That's what it says, yeah.
It doesn't sound totally safe.
No. And they're saying that because it's also got access to potable water, that won't affect anything either.
Oh, it won't?
Supposedly not, but I'm not buying it.
Why isn't this fitting the screen? Huh. That's weird that it's doing that.
You've earned yourself a Spartan helmet, huh? Lucky you. Do we get toxic D-Rock? I don't know. I don't know enough about what goes into this particular lake. Joel might.
What's that?
He asked if we get toxic algae up here.
Well, milfoil is like super invasive and not even it's not even from here, and yet we have to deal with it. It's not a good situation for anybody that we're having to deal with milfoil. It's bad. It's not good for our waterways. It's not good for anything. And it's basically just been brought in by people with their boats. That's it. And their jet skis, and not cleaning them before bringing them into different waterways. And it's a real bummer. It's spreading all over the place, and it is just choking out our waterways, and it is toxic. It's toxic in the way that it's completely killing off the environment, and it's toxic for the fish, because essentially what milfoil will do to our waterways here is they'll overgrow, and they'll overgrow. It's not so much they choke out the native species. Well, they will, yes, but what they do is they create the water becomes completely toxic for our fish, to continue living in. Like our fish can't live in the environment that. What the fuck is going on here? Here, I'm gonna move myself a little bit. There we go. The water here, when it's filled with milfoil, will create water conditions that just kills off our fish. It's essentially, it's like there's no oxygen in the water. It's pure black, pitch black. There's no nutrient in it, and there's no oxygen in it. So what'll end up happening is the fish will swim through those areas, go under there, realize there's no food or anything like that, but it's the only place that they can kind of hide out. So what ends up happening is they go down into the milfoil area. Then the next thing that happens is they hang out down there, try to find food. They can't find any food, but then their gills start to burn because there's no oxygen there. And because there's no oxygen there, they will then come up to the surface. They come up to the surface, and now they're being preyed upon, right? And that's not good because the fish, when they get eaten, then they don't exist anymore. then they don't exist, and then they can't breed, and then they can't make more fish. And especially when you're talking about migratory fish like salmon and whatnot, that becomes kind of vitally important for them to breed when they're up a river, right? Because the rest of the time they're out in the ocean doing ocean shit. Then they come up into the river so that they can breed and do breeding, and that's why they're here, up in the river. That's all packed full of milfoil, and then they're in a toxic environment. And the whole reason they're there is that is to breed, and then there's no reason for them to breed. Yeah, or they can't. That's not that there's no reason for them to breed. They can't breed because they die. What's up, everybody? We're playing a game of Risk online. Progressive caps, Europe, advanced, progressive, capitals. That's what we're playing. We're going to play a game here because I don't need to pick up Olivia today. So we can play a game of Risk and not be worried about having to go pick up Olivia. And, yeah. The state will shut down our lakes. People getting sick, dogs dying. Maybe it's milfoil that we get. We do get toxic algae from time to time in certain smaller waterways and stuff like that. And the state will essentially step in and be like, put up a no swim notice, stuff like that. That's normally like the blue-green algae, cyanobacteria, shit like that, when that stuff happens. So, basically anywhere in the United States that can happen. We also do have the crazy algae blooms that happen from agricultural sources. I don't know if you're familiar with that aspect that happens from time to time, with basically a lot of rain and whatnot will wash down a whole bunch of fertilizer and whatnot out of the farms, and then it collects into places like Moses Lake, and then Moses Lake is just it's a riddled lake. That lake is kind of disaster. We kind of get away with it more often than not because a lot of our waterways are really big here. Lake Roosevelt's huge, for instance. The Columbia River, if you're familiar with the Columbia River, it's quite large. And so the big waterways, they normally get away with it because just the sheer volume of them, right? Whereas, like Moses Lake isn't that big. So
Landlocked.
Yeah, and it's landlocked. It's not going anywhere. It's just a basin that essentially fills up. So they get a lot of blue-green algae and shit like that. That is not good. This is what we get. Blue-green algae is a toxin-producing cyanobacteria that can be found in lakes, ponds, and rivers. Yeah. Yeah, it really is like... it's more often than not, the blue-green algae is what's really toxic. And you'll normally find out, like you said, with dogs. Normally you'll find out with people's dogs and stuff when they go, somebody goes out and they're throwing a ball out into or a stick out into a lake or a river or generally a lake or a pond or whatever, and then their dog gets sick, which fucking sucks because like dogs don't deserve that. Dogs deserve to have fun in the river. You know what I mean? Dogs should get to have fun in the river and the lakes and jump around and get sticks and stuff like that, and not have to get sick from cyanobacteria.
Right?
That's just something. It's just something I believe.
Mine haven't gotten lake time yet this year, although they desperately need it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been hauling neighbors around too much to get them in the back of the truck too.
Yeah.
And hyper wet Labradors in an enclosed SUV is not ideal.
Yeah.
Where
But
are we
D-Rock,
going to cap?
D-Rock says like the Salton Sea out here by me. I love the Salton Sea. I have I love the Salton Sea. I think the story behind it and everything is fucking amazing. It's crazy. But the Salton Sea is 100% man-made structure. Like that water isn't even supposed to be there. And that's the reason that they don't allow them to put more water into it. The Salton Sea was actually put there on accident when they were building. Oh shoot! People are gonna quote me on this, and I'm gonna be wrong. But they were basically building I think they were building a train trestle, like a train was going over a thing, and they had like blocked off this water, and somehow it eroded, and it sent all that water down into where the Salton Sea is, and because of all the water, what the fuck? Oh my god!
What happened?
What the fucking shit was that? This guy hit my capital. A 9v6 and he only lost 4 troops. I had a 6 capital and this fuck stick. What the fuck is this? That fucking cheating ass motherfucker.
Uh-oh, there's a report coming on.
Fucking what the fuck, dude? That's a fucking absolute bullshit. White, when I put my cap down, White couldn't even see my capital. Unless maybe they could. I didn't think they could see my capital. They went, hello there. And fucking, they come out of the fog with 10 troops, hit my capital, didn't even fortify anything back. They hit my capital. I had a 6 capital. Hit my capital with 9 troops. Only lost 4, which is fucking absurd roll. That makes no sense.
Giddy.
There's nothing I can do. They've stolen my capital. I'm only getting 3 troops now. I don't have a capital. Of course, I lose a troop. Yeah. I mean, the reality of this situation of like somebody coming out of the fog like that and hitting my capital, I have a 6 capital on the first fucking turn. That is insane that anybody would even do that. Let alone like come up, win the roll, and then and just and their ID number is 123. Like their name is 123 on.
Yeah, that's not a cheater.
That's fucking ridiculous, dude. Yeah. He fucking sacrificed his own cap. He didn't even put anything back on his capital.
What an ass.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. Absolute nonsense.
So how does their reporting system work? Do they just look at girth of numbers?
Their reporting system is fucked up. I mean, I don't know. The problem is that like I don't work there, and then people complain about it, but then it's like, it's like people complain about it, but it's like, how do I know any of these people's complaints are even like founded in reality, right? It's like people are like, oh, their reporting system is broken, and it's like, well, probably, but who the fuck knows? Like, they're not all that open about like what the hell's going on with every little thing, because it's not really like anybody's business. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, yeah, we run our business the way we run our like, what do I want to do here? Because I just basically need to survive, but obviously Pink is going for this bonus. 6 here. Or a 10 here. I think I'm going with a 10 here, and we'll see how this goes. Oh my god, 2 1s. Jesus Christ. Oh. I'm in an absolutely like an absolute nightmare game. But yeah, the Salton Sea, like the Salton Sea stuff like we were talking about, the Salton Sea like really is incredibly interesting to me, and I think that like one of the only things that they could do is to add water back to it. And I think there is a world where that like should be done. You know what I mean? Is like I think that they should add water back to it. Just from the stake of like they don't have they don't have the tourism to keep the area alive anymore. It's not thriving the way that it could, for people to be there, right? Which ultimately should be everything that we're all trying to accomplish, like as the human race, right? Is like we got to make this the best for humans to continue surviving, right? And I ultimately think that like most of our decisions should be motivated that way. It's like, okay, how are we going to make this better for people so that it can continue to have value for people, so that people will continue to be an ambassador of the area, of the environment, of like everything that's going on, right? Like I think that's the only real way to realistically engage with this planet in a way that like we don't extract it to the point where people can't live here anymore. I think it's really the only way to do it. And like a parallel to that was when we were down in Peru, like some of the people that I talked to, not anybody else from the company, but some of the people that I talked to were talking about the forest management down there, of like trying to manage the forests down in the rainforest areas. is like you have to make the area. You have to make. You have to make conserving the area into a priority for essentially the poor people, right? Like you have to make conservation a priority for people that don't have any money, right? Like the people that don't have any money need to know that like maintaining this area is for their best interest, and the best interest for their future is to maintain that area, right? So in order to do that, you have to make it like valuable enough for the poor people to be like, yeah, we're invested in maintaining this, right? Like we have to maintain this. We're invested in maintaining this. And it's, in order to do that, you got to make it like a more habitable area. There's a company that wants to mine lithium there. Well, chances are, like with the attitude around the Salton Sea, here's the unfortunate side of it. They probably will get to mine lithium there. That's probably what will end up happening, is that they'll probably get away with it, you know.
Right.
Is that they'll probably get away with mining. Yeah, they'll probably get away with mining there because they'll be like, oh, well, that's what the people want, you know. It's unfortunate that that's probably what will happen, but it's probably what will happen. You know, it's like they'll go, oh, the business interests outweigh maintaining or trying to like improve the environment around there for people and whatnot. So it's pretty sad, but that's just the way that it's probably going to be, you know. So Pink seemed to understand what I was doing before, was that like I don't have anywhere else to go. So unfortunately I broke their UK, which sucked, but I didn't want to hit their extra troops that were in here, and I think that they sort of resigned to the fact that like, okay, I need to let yellow exist up here, even though I obviously don't have a capital. I don't know if they've been able to figure out that I don't have a capital.
Hopefully not. Right, this is not one of the better games for you.
That's all right. We're surviving.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure, one of the things that we need to make sure is that white does not get a bonus, and they almost got the Germany bonus, this one right here, on the last turn. So I went up and I took Scandinavia and then left a 4 in here. So I think the best that they'll be able to do is 6 on 4. The thing is, like, I can't really waste any more of my troops trying to fuck
Keep
with
them in.
white, to try to fuck with white. I mean, I guess I could have put some more troops here, but I need to keep this 5 back here in case somebody decides to come up and
Right.
smash around in the UK. Like, hopefully they run into this 5 and they go, never mind, and then back off a little bit. But pink is gaining some steam down here. Fucking white. Oh, and then he put a 3 there. Okay. I don't understand this guy's dice. He went a 5 on 4. And he lost 3 and still won it. That's crazy. I mean, yeah. Pink is down here gaining steam. They just got West Africa. They got West Africa and Spain now. I don't even have a fucking trade. This is crazy. Zipgun says Fox released Deadpool 2 1 year before the Disney purchase. So when Brolin was signed for the 2 different characters, there was no way to know that Fox would be purchased by Disney. I mean, the thing is that, like, Josh Brolin already played Cable, and it's like they would have known that. They knew that he played Cable, and they would have known that, you know? Like, that's ultimately my point, is like, I mean, they could have even just asked Josh Brolin if he had played Cable, and they would know, right? Like, that's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, for those mega corporations to not understand that, like, one of the characters had already played one of the characters that was already in Marvel, like, those guys knew, right? And that's my point. My point is that, like, then hire somebody else to be Thanos, right? Like, it's one or the other. Like, he chose to be Cable. You're Cable now. That's it. You know? It's also stupid that Chris Evans got to be what's his Johnny was it Johnny Flame or whatever his name is from the Fantastic Four. I never really liked the Fantastic Four, so I never really was like that into it. The fucking White is an absolute piece of shit. I hate this fucking White player. But was it Johnny Flame? Isn't that who the character is? I forget. I'm, like I said, not a big
Storm.
Johnny Storm. That's what it was. You know, like, it's stupid that he played that and Captain America, right? Like, that's also stupid, you know.
Yeah, I think somebody had mentioned that one earlier.
Yeah. What is it with this White player's dice, too? He's able to just, like, lose 0. Oh, he lost 3. Okay. So I guess he did lose something. Oh, yeah, I got a +2. Look at that. Got me a +2.
Woohoo. Oh, get him.
So, yeah, it's okay. Like, I understand it's 2 different companies. Like, I get the concept. I fully understand the concept that it's 2 different companies. Like, I get that. And I understand that there's like 5 different people that played Spider-Man. There's 1,000 different people that played Superman. I understand that. I get it. But Josh Brolin as Cable came out right. Like, I think they were out at basically the same time. Like, it seemed like those movies were either out in theaters or, like, knew enough that you knew what was going on. And my point is not so much that it was 2 different companies. My point is it's the same actor. That's my point. My point is it's the same actor playing multiple characters in the same universe. Like, that fundamentally will make you lose your suspended disbelief, right? Like, that's my big issue, right? Is like, that's not Cable, that's Thanos. That's not Thanos, that's Cable, right? Like, that's the issue. And like, I get that it was 2 different companies at one point. I understand that this whole situation was super disjointed. People couldn't figure out, like, who owned the rights, blah, 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 all that stuff. I could get it. I fully understand that stuff. But, like, the bigger problem is that What the fuck is with this guy's dice? This makes no sense. 3-on-2. Still wins. Absurd. This guy has not lost a roll against me this whole entire game and makes no fucking sense. All right. But like my point is that it's the same actor playing two characters in the same universe fundamentally doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? Like that's my point. It's not so much that like, yes, it was two different companies. Yes, somebody else owned Marvel and the crazy shit with Spider-Man where, you know, this person owns Marvel, that person owns Marvel. Is it Sony? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other thing? Like, I get all of that stuff, you know, like, but it's also unimportant to me in a major way, right? Like, I don't care that at Sony at one point owned Spider-Man or whatever, and then these companies couldn't fucking figure it out. Like, that I don't care about the minutia of the interworkings of these companies. Like, I care about the stories being told so that they make sense, right? Like, that's what I care about because I'm like a fan, right? Like, I'm a fan that wants to...
I'm sorry.
Like, I'm a fan that wants to watch them and watch them, like, make sense, right?
Right. They need a babysitter for the story arc, no matter where it lives.
Well, it's like I don't need a babysitter for...
Not you.
No. What I'm saying is, it's like I don't need a babysitter or another person to be like to be able to jump in and tell me the minutia of the interworkings of the corporations during the movie, right? Like, I don't need somebody to break in and be like, oh, hey, so the reason why this part of the movie is like kind of crazy is that we couldn't find some other hot chick to play the hot chick in this movie, so we had to hire this other hot chick because like Sony and Warner Brothers were like in a battle with like whose boobs were bigger or whatever. Like, I don't need to understand like all of that shit during a movie. Like, they should have figured that stuff out on their own long before. Sorry, 8 billion people on the planet. You already signed up to play cable. It's your turn to play. It's your turn to be just continue playing cable, and we're gonna get somebody else to play Thanos, right? Like that.
And that was my point. It was that somebody would protect the arc within the inner workings. You guys wouldn't see what was going on, but no matter where it went to live.
Or fundamentally, like maybe you had Josh Brolin do the voice of Thanos, and then make sure that you don't model Thanos after Josh Brolin, which they did. The CGI of Josh Brolin's Thanos' head and Josh Brolin's head, like they used Josh Brolin's head and facial features to do the CGI of Thanos, right? Like they didn't need to do that, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean the whole thing is just, it's just so fundamentally flawed to me that you have this guy doing both roles. It just does not make any sense, you know. But there is some just desserts that White was a piece of shit, shitty Risk player and got
First.
Well, he got 5th place because Green quit. Something happened to Green and they decided that they were going to quit. All right, Black has 5 cards. I have 4 cards. I have no capital, so I got to figure out either A, how to get a capital, or B, just somehow stay out of the way until I can figure out where a capital is, because I don't know where any of the other capitals are. I think Pink's is over here. Green's was somewhere down here. So maybe I'll just go take a look.
Right.
Because maybe I can kill Green. Oh, maybe their capital was indeed there. Oh, there's a capital.
Get it.
Well, at least I'm on a capital. I'm on a capital, guys. Boys and girls. Cats and dogs living together. I've got a capital. And here comes Black to fucking... There comes Black to destroy me. What did he get? How much did he get? He only started with 10, but he got a trade.
Mark on that. 40. Decided to take out your British contingent.
He took out all my bonuses, which kind of sucks, but sort of expected. I took one of his capitals. And I probably could have gone down to try and kill green on the last turn, but I ran into this pink capital here, and I haven't been through the middle at all. Like I haven't seen Romania, Bulgaria, Dinarides, Trieste, Hungary, Vienna. I haven't seen any of this shit. Like I have no vision here early in the game. So
Right.
I know that I saw green down here at one point, and then I know that they quit because somebody slammed into him. But I don't know where black's original capital is. I don't know what's going on here in the middle. I haven't seen it at all. So
All crazy.
I could have gone up and around and tried to go down and kill green, but it looks like red's quitting now. Oh no, they're still playing. Okay, red's right in here.
You just can't see what they're doing.
No, red was delaying like they were about to bot out, but holy shit, pink has 26. Pink is going to go kill green now, right? Yeah. Yep, there it is. Green's dead. Green's dead. Let's wait till they're done with their draft. What are you doing, Pink? Hurry up.
She does not know.
So I'm going to put my 7 here. We're going to do that. And we're going to see what black does. Okay, Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man, sadly, but I believe that's the last major property that has not come back to Marvel. Then that starts to make actors exclusive to whoever signs them first for things that the original signing company does not own, which would then limit their ability to make money. So how do you compensate for that? Well, I mean, like, okay, how do you compensate for that? All right, there's 8 billion people in the world. That's how you compensate for that. Like, Jesus, fuck it. How am I fucking? God damn it! I'm losing to black. That son of a bitch.
God.
What trade did he get? Did he have a trade? He got 12 troops. He traded for 52. Who opened his capital? Okay, let's see here. So he attacked my 7 with a 25. Only lost 2. Then he lost 0. Then he lost 0. Then he lost 0. Then he lost 2.
Wow.
Hit my through. Oh, he had 114 already. Okay, 114 on my 36, and he lost 73. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, all right. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know who opened his capital. That was kind of like what I was wondering there. I don't know. That was a whack-ass game, I'll tell you that. What did I come in? Third? Oh, Jesus. Came in third. Lost. Came in third. I lost and came in third because this idiot hit my capital right out the gate like an idiot. What a donk. Uh-oh. I might lose my Grandmaster status. We're We're 313 and 405 after 2 ridiculous losses last night and then 1 today. So, running on a little string of bad luck here, but it is what it is. Oh, let's play a 1v1. Let's see if somebody wants to play a 1v1. I'll play this one. Yeah, let's go, Arch McPunch 2. Arch McPunch 2. No, the actors. You are limiting the actors for signing a contract, barring them from other roles they may be available at the time of the signing. Okay, my point is this. My point is this. 8 billion people on the planet. There's at least 1 million actors out there. If Josh Brolin got to play Cable, he probably made, what, $5 million from doing that? Right? Like, he's not at the pauper's table begging for scraps in his life or something. Like, but there has to be some level of fairness in the world for anybody to, like, just even hope that there's, I don't know, some kind of fairness. I don't know. I'm like, but you don't need, the same guy is already doing a thing somewhere else at another business. Like, okay. I mean, I don't understand. I guess I don't know what, I don't even know what I'm arguing anymore. I don't know. I'm just trying to play some fucking risk here, but like, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Just hire somebody the fuck else to do the job. Like, if you desperately are going to make this movie, like, sure, I'm not saying Josh Brolin sucks or something. I'm saying, like, the job could exist still and some other person do the labor, as opposed to having one person do the labor of 2 jobs that are available, because there's only so many movies that are going to get made. I guess that's my point, is that, like, they're only going to make 50 huge movies this year, right? And 2 of those that are superhero movies, right,
Are Josh Brolin movies.
are Josh Brolin movies, right? Like, so, like, my point is that, like, just hire another actor. Like, I don't understand, like, why anybody would think it was weird I would even say that. So I guess that's why I'm sort of flabbergasted, is like, there's an endless sea of people. Hire somebody from India. India has Bollywood with so many actors and actresses and actors and actresses and actors and actresses in it that you could have hired somebody from Bollywood to play anything. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've already fucking lost this 1v1.
Wow.
I wasn't paying attention, and I've already
I was
lost
gonna
this.
say multitasking is not working here.
But my point is, just hire anybody. You know what I mean? Like you could have hired just anybody to play Thanos. He's a space character that's purple. You know, it's not like it has to be Josh Brolin. You know, like, that's my point. So like my point is like, you didn't have to hire Josh Brolin to play all of the superheroes. Like, is my point. And I don't have a problem with Josh Brolin. I think he's fucking badass. I think he's awesome. Seems like an awesome dude. Like, I don't know of any, like, impropriety is ever done or anything like that. I don't think there is any scandals or anything. It's not a Josh Brolin issue. It's a, why are we casting only this guy issue.
Right.
Like, that's my problem.
Much like it was all Chris Pine and Chris Helmsworth for a while there. And yeah, they all seem to get hired for the same type of roles repeatedly in every other movie that came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
All right, hold on. I gotta win this match here.
I was gonna say, you gotta concentrate. Marigold yellow urine must beat. whatever shade of brown you're in, that is. Technically, it's orange, but whatever.
Ah, shit. I should have put it on the 2. What the fuck was I doing? Hey, goddammit. I fucked up. Sorry, guys. I completely fucked up. Oh, I got the horsey trade. I could do a horsey trade next turn. Horsey. Oh, he's going to have South America. Damn it. He's got South America. Oh, no. But I've got 27 territories coming in with 9 troops. I'm going to fuck up his South America. Super hard. Oh, I don't have my +2. I had a +2, but it's gone. Let's see. So I need... Yeah? And then, yeah, like this. Okay. 5, 4, 3. Boomski. Boomski. Bippity. Boppity. Wait, hold on. Stop that. Hit. So we need to do that. Then we can do this. Then we can do... Shit. Got some shit dice. And then we can put that one up there. Oh, no, you got a 10 trade? You son of a bitch. I've got nothing but horses. Where my deuces at? Oh, my +2. He took my +2. You son of a bitch.
Wow. Indonesia.
Indochina. So I got to take my shitty 6 trade here. He's gonna pull his 3 up. You gonna pull your 3 up, bro? Bro, you gonna pull your 3 up? I still got 8, and I also got this coming in. Which one do I want? I want Peru.
Country you know well.
I've been there.
I know, that was why I said that. He likes to say victory a lot.
He's saying I'm gonna win.
Oh, okay, I see.
Cause I am. At this point, he's fucked.
Oh, darn it.
At this point, he's screwed. Somehow managed to turn that around. No, the actors, you are limiting actors for signing a contract, bearing them the roles. Yeah. So, like, my point is that, like, I understand that, like, it would suck as an actor to be like, oh, I have signed up for this role, so I can't take that other role. Like, and I'm sure that exists in every industry in the world, right? Like, I almost guarantee that it would suck if you signed up for, say, a manufacturing job, and then, like, but the manufacturing job that you really, really wanted to do, like, came available. And then you're like, but I really wanted to do that other manufacturing job, but I'm already signed up with this manufacturing job or whatever. Like I get it. You could quit one job and then go do another one, or it may or may not restrict you from taking a position elsewhere, right? Like, let's say you worked with NASA and they wouldn't allow you to go work at what's the other aerospace? Let's just say what's that?
I said SpaceX just as a random.
No, like what's the British one?
Oh. I don't remember its name.
Like, we have to think about the British one. Which one's the British one?
It hurts my head. I don't remember.
Oh, that leaves the string dangling down. Look at that. I like the string dangling down. Aerospace companies.
Green screen tampon spray? What?
What's the British airplane company?
Not Airbus. BAE.
Oh my God. Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin is not British. But let's just say
Virgin Galactic.
Airbus. Airbus is now Boeing. These are all like they've all conglomerated now or whatever.
Yeah, it's
but
such an incestuous little group.
oh, Lockheed Martin is American. Okay. Yeah, so let's say you work for NASA and then a position comes available at Lockheed Martin, but your NASA job prohibits you from taking the job over at Lockheed Martin, right? Like that is probably suboptimal for somebody to take their dream job, right? Like let's say that their dream job is over at Lockheed Martin, but they really want to take that job. Hold on, the background thing is on.
You're gonna totally turn around and whap yourself in the face with that cord.
I don't. It's just a tiny little. It's a shoestring. But so like, let's say you wanted to go over to Lockheed Martin, but you having worked from NASA is prohibiting you from doing that. Like fucking bummer, dude. Like total bummer, especially if that's your dream job, and you're like, okay, but I already have this amazing opportunity at NASA, and like maybe at some point there'll be a position for me to move over into SpaceX doing satellites instead of rockets or airplanes or something, right? Like that's the reality of like maybe Marvel does something later on in Star Wars because Disney owns Marvel, and maybe Josh Brolin could go do a Star Wars thing, or maybe he could go do an Imbiamba Jones thing, or maybe he could go do one of the voices on Cars or Star Trek or whatever, right? Like, but this is one actor playing two characters in the exact same cinematic universe with the exact same company, essentially, right? Like, I understand he did that part before, but the shit makes no sense from just a viewing standpoint of like, but that's Josh Brolin right now. But that's Josh Brolin as Thanos. But that's Josh Brolin as Thanos, and Josh Brolin was also Cable. Is Thanos Cable? Because they're played by the same guy, right? Like, that's the problem I have, and it's like, okay, but all of these people are workers within the company, and the company oversight should be like, you know what? We love Josh Brolin, and we think he would be awesome here, but you already play a character in this shit. Let's get someone else, because there's 8 billion people on the planet, which is an incalculable number realistically when you try to think of it with the human mind of like how many fucking people that is. That like, can you find an actor in Texas who's a lot like Josh Brolin, maybe 20 years younger or something? Have him play Thanos? There's got to be somebody with a Josh Brolin voice that could play him, that just has a deep voice that isn't Josh Brolin, right? The motherfucker was already in Goonies, right? Like, he was already in Goonies. He already got to be in Goonies. But he gets to be Thanos and Cable? Makes no sense. But in a normal job, like working at NASA, you keep working for them. Let's say you are independent contractor and you get a contract to do periodic maintenance with one company. Then you do periodic maintenance with them playing Cable, right? So you as Josh Brolin would want to advocate for the next Cable movie, right?
There's a
Just, okay, no. Like, look, if Josh Brolin is Cable and a periodic maintenance man is working for a different company to do periodic maintenance, that's him transitioning to do the same job at another company, right? Right? So, let's say the periodic maintenance guy gets to go play CEO suddenly over at another company. You'd be like, wait, why? Why is he playing CEO all of a sudden? It's like, because he's periodic maintenance man over here. And you're like, but that's the qualification? Like, but that still doesn't even fucking make sense. How do I convey this so that it fucking makes sense?
No, it makes sense to me.
He's
I
doing
understand
two
where you're
fucking
coming
jobs
from.
at the same. All right, he's playing the Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter in the fucking Rabbit Went Down the Hole. Alice in the Wonderland. He's playing two characters in a play at the same time. He's playing fucking Macbeth and the other guy at the same time. Right?
So now we're all going to die. It was a Scottish play. Okay.
Like,
I get it.
like that's my point. Is like, what the fuck, man? And he's playing one of my favorite characters that doesn't get a shot now anymore because Josh Brolin is Thanos now. Instead of him advocating to be another Cable movie and be Josh Brolin and go on talk shows and go, I played Cable and I want to do another movie with Cable. And then, oh, guess what? A movie producer calls up and goes, hey, I've got $100 million to make another Cable movie because it sounds like Josh Brolin wants to do it. And then guess what? They make another Cable movie. And then it goes out and it makes $300 million. And they go like, well, I don't know. Maybe we make Cable 2 now. I don't know. And then Cable 2 makes $600 million or some shit. I don't know. But like, no, fuck all that. Josh Brolin's going to be Thanos now. Like, it's absurd. Get another actor to play Thanos. I don't know. It's like being the CEO of one company and then being the CEO of another company at the same time. That's what it is. That's what it's like in business. In business, it would be the CEO of two. It would you be being the CEO of two companies competing with each other, right? Like one of them's gonna fucking fail, right?
That's right.
He can't play Cable anymore. He played Thanos because
Well, they were
now
saying that the characters were so different he could carry both roles.
no, they can't. He can't. His voice is the same. Like,
I know. That was their justification.
there's no justification. There's no justification. It's fucking insanity. It's insane. They're on cocaine. They're on shitloads of drugs. They're on shitloads of cocaine and making these decisions. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
They killed Thanos. It doesn't matter. He could just
Right.
be Cable.
Okay, how about this? You know how Han Solo died? Do you know how Han Solo died? We know that Han Solo died. He got stabbed with a lightsaber right through his midsection. Okay? Now check this out. Harrison Ford as Luke Skywalker. All right? Hey,
Do it.
I know that you're all thinking. I know what you're all thinking. Pure genius. This is brilliant.
No, they'd bring him back as an anti-hero. He'd be like Darth Hans or something.
No. Just have him play Luke Skywalker. He could do it. He's a good actor. He's a good actor, and he's got a great voice. He could do it.
Zip. Skywalker's also did. Yeah, but they did the Thanos snap, so it doesn't matter that he's dead.
Yeah.
We're gonna just mix it all together.
You know, hyperdrives now, if you hit the hyperdrive, it'll fly through all the ships and it'll blow them all up.
Okay.
So, doesn't really matter, you know.
If you fly forward fast enough, you'll go backwards.
Like I said, man, I'm not anti-Josh Brolin. I'm pro-Josh Brolin. I like Josh
I'm
Brolin.
pro
I think he's fucking great. I think he's badass in probably every single thing I've ever seen him in. Probably. I don't know. Was he in The Lost Boys? I don't know. Was he in The Goonies? Probably. Was he in fucking all sorts of whack-ass movies? Because he's had a fucking gifted life. I bet you will find out that, like, his dad is the owner of Disney or something. Let's look him up.
Uh-oh. Bro Bolin,
Oh.
Pro Rant.
Let's see. Parents. Look, first off. Okay, here we go. All right. Josh Brolin's dad, known as James Brolin, is an American actor. Brolin has won 2 Golden Globes and an Emmy. He received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame August 27th, 1998. Brolin is the father of actor Josh Brolin and the husband of Barbara Streisand. Brolin is best known for his TV roles such as Stephen Kiley on Marcus Welby, MD, Peter McDermott on Hotel. Oh, okay. John Short in Life in Pieces, and the narrator on Sweet Tooth, blah, 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 and the husband of Barbara Streisand. So we don't know who...
Mom actually is.
We don't know who his mom actually is. Jane Cameron, which is probably James Cameron's mom, too, or something. She died in 1995. She was pretty attractive. Where did she go? 5'5", born in 1939. Mother of James, Josh, and Jess Brolin. I don't know. Don't know who the mom is, but her dad was married to Barbara Streisand. So that's pretty significant. Okay, so early career, film, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Josh Brolin's dad, first off, was a famous actor who won Emmy Awards, right? Okay, so he has his dad eventually married Barbara Streisand, so he's had a very hard go of it, being a young guy.
Tough being a Brolin man.
Brolin said in a 2014 interview that during his youth, Brolin was a member of a surfing friendship group who called themselves the Cedo Rats. A surfing friendship group? Okay. In his description of the group, Brolin said it was Santa Barbara. It was the 80s. It was punk rock. You either had the children of rich, neglectful parents or children of poor, so it was a mix. Which, by the way, we would all understand that he was a child of the rich. He was of the rich vernacular, okay? So quit trying to act like because you hung out with poor kids, you were poor. But we basically grew up the same way. I've never seen a group like that before or since, which is weird to say fundamentally.
Me, or does surfing friendship group not sound at all punk?
Yeah, and they were called the Cedo Rats, okay, which sounds like a friendship group. So he admitted to stealing cars to pay for his drug use, which included heroin, a drug that he explained he did not like. I mean, I never got into it, and I never died from it, which is a good thing. So he never got into it, and he didn't die. Okay, but he said he was stealing cars to pay for his heroin, so he must have either gotten into it or something. He said, I've had 19 friends who died. Most of those guys I grew up with, they're all dead now, Brolin said later. The group of guys I grew up with, 37 of them are dead. 12 are in jail, 4 are in jail, and also dead. I keep careful count, all 37 dead guys. I'm from a tough environment, you know.
That was a confusing count.
It's a very confusing statement to be to be clear. Brolin started his career in TV films and guest roles on TV shows before landing a more notable role as Brandon Walsh in the Richard Donner directed film The Goonies in 1985, which released in 1985. So if we're talking about his early youth,
Yeah, he was the older brother.
so in 1968 he was born. So if we go 12 years, that gives us 1980. 1985 he was 17, right?
Yep, he's a year younger than I am.
Unless I'm out of my fucking mind, he was already in a movie by the time he was 17. That released in 1985, right? That movie released in 1985, which means it was probably filmed in 1984. Am I crazy?
83, 84, along the Oregon coast. Yes.
Right.
You are crazy, but those are indeed facts.
So you're saying that he was 19, he was stealing cars to pay for heroin, but he had already been in the Goonies.
Obviously, that fame did not translate to drugs or free drugs. So, okay.
Okay. So I don't know. He had already been in the Goonies by 1984 when he was 16, right?
Wasn't he in Brokeback Mountain? Was he the other actor in that? No.
Brolin was considered for the role of Tom Hansen on the series 21 Jump Street. Brolin and Johnny Depp were the finalists for the role, and the two became close and remained friends. The role ultimately went to Depp. Brolin guest starred in an episode of the show in its first season. So, like, he was already in Goonies by 1985. So I don't understand what, like, weird troubled youth he had when he was, like, 16 and already being in a movie. Like, I don't know. That's a hard sell.
Well,
That's
Drew Barrymore was, what, 6 and in a movie and then went on to alcoholism and
I'm not saying that he wasn't doing drugs and shit. Okay, like yeah. But to proclaim that like you had a hard, that you had like a hardcore childhood or something, like your dad was an Emmy award-winning actor who married Barbara Streisand. Like, I don't know. It sounds like he was the child of, as he described, children of rich, neglectful parents, right? That is his description.
Right.
So it sounds like he was a child of rich, neglectful parents, by his own words, right? And that he was already in a movie by the time he was 16, which people don't just break into movies on accident when they're 16, realistically, right? His dad already is a professional actor, right? So clearly his dad was so neglectful that he gave him help to get into a movie, right? So I don't know how neglectful the rich parents were. So I don't know. It's weird. So like ultimately this whole thing like boils down to like once again we're embroiled in like nepotism of Brolin is the son of a famous actor and like grew up in Hollywood. So he must just get all of the roles, right? Like, I think he's a good actor. Like, True Grit, he did amazing in. Men in Black 3, he did awesome in that. Like, I don't even know what Hail Caesar was. Didn't see that.
I think it was a comedy, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, and by the way, like, all right, so here it is right here. He gained wider recognition for playing Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the films Avengers Infinity War in 2018, as well as Cable in Deadpool 2 2018. So, like, those movies came out the fucking same year. I didn't look this up earlier because I was playing Risk. But I can look it up now, and they both were released in 2018. So not only does that, like, break the fourth and fifth wall or whatever, right, to the point where it's like, what the fuck? But then he went on he's been doing the Dune movies, right? So, like, He plays Gurney Halleck in the Dune movies. Like, he's doing terribly bad for himself. And clearly, playing Cable and Thanos is what led to this, like, horrific downturn in his career or whatever. I don't know. But, like, my point is, I love the Cable character, and I would like to see more Cable movies. And the reason that there aren't more Cable movies is because they cast Josh Brolin as Cable and Thanos. Right? Somebody cast Josh Brolin as Cable. Good call. Fantastic choice. Totally awesome. Whatever fuckstick cast Josh Brolin as Thanos should be waterboarded at the very least.
Okay.
Right? Like,
All right.
tickled with feathers until they shit their pants. Right? Like, something should happen to this person that cast Josh Brolin as Thanos and then was like, you know what we should do is we should CGI his face and do not alter his voice at all, and CGI his face onto Thanos instead of making Thanos just look more like a purple alien, like which he is, and go like, maybe it's not Josh Brolin, maybe it's Thanos, and you could just think it's Thanos. But the whole time you're going to watch the Infinity War, you're going to think, but that's Josh Brolin. And didn't Josh Brolin just play Cable like a month ago when I watched Deadpool? Yeah. I don't know. So that's like fundamentally, like, that's my issue. Somebody should be tickled until they poop their pants.
That's an interesting torture method.
Yeah, poo pants. Like, and same for the idiot that cast Ryan Reynolds as the untalking Deadpool 25 years ago. Like, that was horrific.
Okay.
Zip Gun says no. There are no more Cable movies. There are no more Cable movies because all the X-Men movies that Fox had slated are no longer planning. We don't know how Marvel is going to bring the X-Men in. Yes, we don't know how Marvel is going to bring the X-Men in, except for the movie that I just watched this last fucking weekend that brings the X-Men in with Deadpool 3. And the fact that Fox Studios is dead is in Deadpool 3 like 4 times.
Oh my
Deadpool
God.
references I'm Marvel Jesus. Take that, Fox. Right? There is a part where they go to the end world, and the Fox movie studios is in the void. Like the big Fox movies studios thing is in the void, and they walk past it, and Deadpool is like, yeah, that's right, Fox Studios. Like, there are multiple references to the fact that Fox movie studios no longer exist. They are owned by Disney in the Deadpool movie, which, by the way, has the X-Men show up in it in the form of fucking Wolverine that is in the goddamn title. You can bring Wolverine in whenever you want. You own the rights to it. We're in a multiverse where they just fucking do whatever the fuck they want, you know? Like, if it's inconvenient to write exposition, somebody picks up a cell phone and goes like this, and a magic door opens up behind them, and they just walk out backwards and go into a whole nother universe. None of this shit has to make sense. You could literally just have Jean Grey show up whenever you want. You could have Storm show up whenever you want. You could have Jubilee show up. And as a matter of fact, one of the characters in this movie is Gambit, played by the fucking wrestler guy, whatever the fuck his name is. Gambit in Deadpool. I know his name. Fucking what's his name? Channing Tatum plays Gambit and is in the movie. I'm spoiling it for you now because you want to be arguing with me about like introducing the X-Men. They're in Deadpool 3.
I think he just wants to be arguing with you, but okay.
Yeah, but I know. He's just riling me up, so I stay streaming and yelling at him. And the thing is, I love Zip Gun. He's my favorite, and I'm glad that we argue about shit sometimes. But my point is that like the same person playing the two characters in the thing, you know, like hire someone else. And like I wish that there was a case where somebody could open up a magical book to me and explain to me like the hardships that Josh Brolin is going to go through if he only gets to play Cable or he only gets to play Thanos. Like, and I go, oh my God, he went bankrupt and was destitute and lived in a van down by the river. If only any of us could afford one of those fucking vans these days. Those goddamn things cost like $150,000. You got to be fucking shitting me.
Him and Robert Downey Jr. have to be roommates in the same van.
Yeah, have you seen these camper vans? These motherfuckers in the What was the one that I looked up that was in a Mercedes Sprinter, right?
No.
Who makes these? Yeah, here's one. Here's one by Thor. This one brought to you by Thor. Hold on, I'll actually even share this with you so you guys can believe me. Can believe me. Look at this shit. We only dreamed. We can only dream now that we'd be able to live in a van like this down by the river. Okay? This Mercedes Sprinter motorhome right here, which features a fucking living space of 26 square feet or some shit. I don't even understand. Oh, here we go. MSRP $180,000.
Christ.
Van floor plans from 19 to 25 square feet of fucking living large down by the river. You fucking sexy motherfucker living in a goddamn van down by the river, which you will need to put on a mortgage and make payments for the next 500 years. Or you could go with the Delano. Ooh, the Delano for $218,000, which, by the way, we should all be clear about this. This is the fucking starting price. Do not ask for any amenities in this fucking thing, you know, because the moment you ask for one subtle change, and you've crested $300,000 probably. I don't fucking know. Yeah, here we go.
Like the light bulbs, there's $350,000.
Are you sure you can afford the light bulbs? Go fuck your mother. Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
Model does not come with turn signals.
We all wish that we could live in a van down by the river, but we can't afford it. We will just get butt fucked until we die by these big companies. Okay?
Yeah,
like, that's how it's going to go.
My fan, that would be much easier.
Jesus. I mean, yeah, if you could afford it. And by the way, I know you can't.
Shut up.
I know your budget is all I'm saying. I know your budget, and if it's $216,000, I'll come up there and
you'll be here tomorrow.
I'm leaving right now. I'm shitting my pants and tickling myself all the way on the way there.
That sounds like a call for defense.
I'm tickling and shitting. I'm on my way. I don't know. No, I mean, like, I love Josh Brolin, to be clear. Like, I love him in The Goonies, and I love him as Cable. I don't know that I love him as Thanos, I guess, maybe. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. But it was almost impossible to enjoy those movies from a suspended disbelief standpoint because I kept thinking, but Josh Brolin played Cable. But he's Cable. Who's going to play Cable now? Is he going to play Cable? Wait, we're not going to have any more Cable movies? Cable's my favorite. I really liked Wolverine, but I read all the Cable. All right? I read and I bought all the Cable because I love Cable because he's a time traveler. He's fucked up. He's got fucking nanomachines in his head. He shoots everybody. He's fucking wild. He's just a wild character, and I'm like, I like that. And I've always liked Cable, and I was open to have more Cable movies. but I couldn't watch that because Thanos is Josh Brolin, and Josh Brolin's Thanos. So in my mind, I go, just hire another actor. Please hit the like button if you want me to argue with Joel next time. If you don't want me to argue with Joel, then hit the like button. Yeah, that's right. Hit the like button whether you like it or not. Yeah. I mean, there's only like 8 people here. As soon as I play Risk, people will just bounce the fuck out.
Actually, there were about 13 people. It was when you stopped playing Risk and started ranting about Josh Brolin's history that they...
No, people leave because it's been on too long, you know? So most of the people that have been here from the start, they're gonna go do something else, which is fine. But I can look at the statistics right here because I wrote down when I started playing Risk is right here, and it went down by half. So it went from went from like 25 viewers down to 12. So that's as far as I'm concerned, that's even less than half.
Mathematically speaking.
No, mathematically speaking, I think that's less than 50%.
Unless Josh Brolin is apparently doing
but
it,
as
and then several of those people died and were in jail and dead at the same time.
But as far as I know, I heard somebody say earlier today, is like statistics are difficult to track as a human, and like a good example of that would be that like there's no family in the United States that has 1.9 children.
Come on, somebody cut one into pieces.
That still counts as one.
No, all right.
If you're still alive and you're missing your legs, you're still a human. If you're still alive and you're missing your arms and your legs, you're still a human. You still count as one. But like they were saying that like statistics are hard to track and hard to follow as a person because like a good example would be nobody has 1.9 children, but you have to apply that to like American statistics, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's hard to like, huh? You know. Anyhow, I have to go to the bathroom. So
that's shocking.
Unless you guys want me to do that on here, there's not enough people watching for me to go to the bathroom on stream. So
nobody donated money today. Nobody's throwing you cash. So.
Nobody donated any money today except for me. So that's working to a negative situation. That's a negative. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the bathroom in peace. But I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Human beings. Not Josh Brolin, though.
He's not a human being. He's a purple alien. All right. Good answer. Weirdo. Okay, goodbye.